Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Wednesday, January 1st, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, Cash App $ ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat. Right here, we got the Rose Bowl, number 8 Ohio State Buckeyes versus the number 1 Oregon Ducks. Kickoff is going to be after overtime of Texas and Arizona State, knotted up at 24. And it shows you how important, to have a reliable field goal kicker. Texas missed 2 field goals, and again, that might cost them this particular matchup. Cam Skattebo has definitely given Arizona State a chance after being down this whole game. Much love and respect to them, putting up a little bit bigger of a fight than we saw last night in that Penn State matchup. But again, Boise State didn't have enough. Arizona State looks like they might be a couple notches above Boise State, and I love what I'm seeing out of Cam Skattebo. His draft stock went through the roof. Out of anyone in the college football playoff, we know Travis Hunter is going to solidify himself as a top pick in the draft more than likely and being very versatile. But look at Cam Skattebo. He can run, he can throw, he can catch, he can block, he can do it all. And again, what a great performance. We didn't see Ashton Genty get in the end zone, but I told you all I thought Skattebo would be able to get in at least once. He did, and he's definitely making an impact on this game. Had to obviously come in here a little bit early since we are at overtime. Texas and Arizona State knotted up at 24. 2 missed field goals. Man, I knew college football was going to have some potential upsets, but I wasn't really too sure if it was going to be maybe this one. Ohio State maybe beating Oregon. That could be an upset. Notre Dame beating Georgia. That could be an upset. And prayers up to the people that got affected, by that, blatant act of just I don't even know how to put it into words, but supposedly they had, about 10 people die, 20, 30, 40 that were injured when a crazy individual ended up, going through the streets with their vehicle and running over a lot of people. So we are not going to get Notre Dame, Georgia here tonight. That has got scheduled to go to tomorrow, obviously based on all of the things that have happened there. In the location of Louisiana for the Sugar Bowl. So prayers up to all the families that were affected. Terrible. I mean, the one positive thing that it gives an opportunity for us to do another stream that has some meaning tomorrow. Floater. Did he catch it? Incomplete. Oh my God. But happy New Year to everybody here in the room. Scott in the building, go Ducks. Matt in the building, go Ducks. Odin in the building, go Ducks. Let's go, baby. Captain in the building, let's go. Well, right now, I'm 5-0 in my pick so far. If Arizona State ends up winning, then obviously that'll be the first one that I get wrong. But again, I don't think anyone really thought that Arizona State was going to beat Texas. You could have been rooting for them. But, I mean, if you're looking at the team overall, Texas is the better team. But, again, if you end up missing 2 field goals, you don't really deserve to win the game. So we'll see if Arizona State can find a way to punch it in here to win this in overtime. 3rd down and 4. And short of the marker. Sarah in the building, what's good? Daniel in the building, what's good? Happy New Year's. It's time, baby. All right, Arizona State on 4th down and 1. Skattebo. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Again, we have a chance to be able to hit some really good numbers. It could end up being, 1,000 to 2,000, but depending on how the game goes, and since there is no Notre Dame, Georgia game tonight, I assume there's going to be more eyeballs on this Rose Bowl game, just like this particular matchup with Texas and Arizona State. So we're going to have a chance if we can hit the algorithm and get the likes early, get people commenting and sharing. We might be able to hit 5,000. We might be able to hit 10,000. We might be able to hit 15 or 20,000, depending on if we end up hitting that algorithm and getting a little bit of a boost. So I'm very excited. I'm a little bit nervous. Ohio State obviously being 2.5-point favorites is complete disrespect to Oregon. Beating a Tennessee team that's whack in the SEC should never make a 11-2 team favored over 13-0 Oregon. And we ended up winning the Big Ten title over Penn State. But again, we have plenty of motivation to be able to prove the haters wrong, and hopefully we can get it done. Sneak, and I don't know if he got it. See if Levitt got the first down here. We're in overtime, 24-24. But again, it's a tough path for us. But again, if we end up beating Arizona State, that's an easier path if Arizona State ends up winning against Texas here tonight, in my opinion. So if we end up beating Ohio State, and regardless of who wins this, but if Arizona State wins, I have mad respect for them. Dillingham is from Oregon. Obviously, had some coaching experience here before he got the head coaching job over there. Scatterboom is an amazing player, but I think it would be easier for Oregon to match up against Arizona State compared to Texas. But whoever ends up winning, we'll end up congratulating that particular team. But again, Ohio State, Texas, or Arizona State, and then obviously Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia, we have to win 3 games to win the Natty. And we got to make sure we take care of business here first tonight. Let's go. What's good, baby? Let's go, Ducks. Happy New Year. Yeah, well, we don't want to get too cocky and too laughing at Texas for missing. Texas is more deserving than Arizona State, based off their resume this year. Even though Arizona State was predicted to finish last in the Big 12 and obviously finished first, Scatterboom obviously should have been getting more Heisman votes. He definitely has improved his draft stock the most. But again, sports karma is real, and Texas missing those field goals. I don't want that negative juju, Matt, over here with Oregon, because, again, we haven't had a problem with field goals, or we haven't had a problem with mistakes. The last thing that you want to do is anger the sports gods, laughing at them for missing a couple field goals. You better not bring that bad juju here, because I don't want us to miss a couple field goals and lose to Ohio State, because it's going to come down to possibly a field goal to win the game. That's facts. I feel actually a little bit bad for Texas. They're the more deserving team, and it shows you how important it is to have a good field goal kicker, and not only that, to get someone that can consistently make extra points. But it shows you anything can happen in college football, right? Anything can happen. Anyone can win on any given scenario, and we want good juju here. We don't want no bad juju. We need the Ducks to win here. Let's go. Let's go, baby. First down and 15. Texas had a couple, fourth down stops, which I thought was very, very impressive, because you got to think how many teams could stop another team that's got an elite running back like Scatterboom, who's like a Genty, multi-purpose back, right? And to be able to hold them, from on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and inches, and again, we know that they have a lot of NFL players, on that side of the ball. Uh-oh. Is that Scatterboo down? Uh-oh. Hopefully he's okay. Zay in the building. What's good? He said, go Bucks, go Ducks. Let's go. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. And for the people that are going to help out with the mod duties, make sure we're keeping track of the dono train as well as the likes. And hopefully we can end up hitting a big number. I think that there is potential for 10,000 views or more. And there's not going to be a lot of people, doing this particular stream. And the people that are going to be doing it, they're not going to be hardcore fans like myself. That's for damn sure. Second down and 15, trips left. Little delayed handoff. That's not going to work. Too slow there. Third down and long. And I was going to wait till this game ended, but this is too good, for overtime. And luckily, I got a couple walks in with Paisley early in the day, and I'm ready to go. Right? Got the Monsters, got the Mountain Dew, Code Red, and regular. I don't know what we're going to get into here today, but I want to make sure I got plenty of energy for this one here today. And again, I'm a little sad that we don't get Notre Dame, Georgia after this, but I think it actually is better that it's going to be on tomorrow. They should have split up these games for one each day. I would have done it that way, more ratings that way, but prayers up to the families that were affected. And again, if you didn't have a crazy person, wow, first down, Sun Devils, move the chains. Oh my. First and goal. Handoff, Scatterboom. Good defense there, but still fighting. Wow. Great effort there by Arizona State. Scatterboom. And again, we talk about Travis Hunter, being, a guy that can do multiple positions and a very electric player like Jahmyr Gibbs and Jamison Williams, right? You don't see too many electric players where they could score in multiple ways in a matter of seconds, but, I think with Scatterboom and what he's able to do, we would assume Genty will be drafted higher, but it might be possible that a team like Scatterboom more than Genty based on the things that he can do compared to what Genty can do. Extra point is up and good. And obviously, Scatterboom is still able to score against good competition. Genty, not so much. So maybe Genty, stock goes down a little, and maybe he is the second running back picked, and maybe a team like Scatterboom a little bit more based off his running, throwing, blocking, catching ability. He's a little bit better of a receiver. Genty is just more of a runner. So I like this. He's be able to make a name. And again, he's very confident in his abilities. He said, nobody can stop me, even Texas. And some people laughed. Now he's showing everyone that, hey, he's the real deal. He should have got more Heisman votes, and he should have been there. That's facts. And look at the linemen carrying him over and F5ing him into the end zone. I love it. And you got to think Texas's defense is better than Penn State. So, and complete. (31-24) Arizona State. And in all honesty, like I said, I know Arizona State is good, but I mean, if Oregon matches up with them, I'm not saying that we would blow them out, but we would have, I think, a greater probability of winning against Arizona State compared to Texas. It's an easier matchup for Oregon player for player rather than Texas, but we'll see if Arizona State, and for all those haters that thought the Pac-12, Pac-10, Pac-8 is no good, right? All those teams that, finish from the top to the middle to the bottom, everyone wanted to criticize. Oh, you guys are just little brother. You guys can't match up with the Big Ten or the SEC. Well, fast forward 1 year later, Oregon might win the Natty in the first year in the Big Ten, and Arizona State might end up pulling off a miracle. Supposed to finish last in the Big 12, finishes first, and they're on the cusp of beating Texas. So for all of those people that thought, oh, the Pac-12 is not good, why can't you win the Pac-12 every year? Because it's a lot more depth, top to bottom, in the past compared to any other squad. You look at the Big Ten, top, really, really good. Middle and bottom, shitty. Same thing with the SEC. But even teams like Arizona State, Arizona, Oregon State, Washington State, they can hang with almost anybody. So I think we're starting to realize that all those haters that thinking the Pac-12 was no good, you're starting to see that the Pac-12 was very good, and they were very underrated, and they can end up beating teams that maybe a lot of us didn't think that they had a chance in. Nice job by the Sun Devils and Dillingham. Of course, he's from Oregon. Why do you think that they're doing so well? Let's go. 4th down and 8. I love being able to see teams do well, from the Pac-12. It's just a fantastic feeling, and we already know, Alabama and Georgia and Michigan and Ohio State used to have more NFL players. They had bigger offensive linemen, bigger defensive linemen, and it was hard for Pac-12 teams to be able to match up because we didn't have 6'8", 350-pound bodies up front, and we couldn't match that physical prowess. But now we can based on the recruiting, and you're starting to see teams that are no longer there, like Arizona State. They can hang with some of these big boys too. They're on the cusp of winning this game. Wow. Fourth down and 13. But I think if Ohio State wins or if Oregon wins, Arizona State, even though they look fantastic against Texas here today, it's an easier matchup for Ohio State and Oregon against Arizona State rather than Texas. Texas should have already won this game if they would have been able to make at least one out of those two missed field goals. So, Ewers, 4th and 13. Floater, he's open. Touchdown, Texas! Oh my God. Talk about clutch. Ice water in the veins. Quinn Ewers, Matthew Golden. Oh my God. Wow, 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 wow. I love college football, man. It's better than the NFL. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I mean, every once in a while we'll get a Bills Lions game where it might be 43-40, something of that nature, and that's awesome. Even though I'm more of a defensive minded fan, but college football, especially now with the college football playoff, I think you're going to start to get more and more people interested in college football, and also people that only watch the NFL. They're going to have to start taking a peek at college because you might have some of these players on your favorite NFL team next year. What a great, great performance here by Texas and Arizona State. Obviously, it's delaying the game here with Oregon. Obviously, I know they have some of the other coverage on ESPN2, but again, they are not going to start the game until this one is over. So, well, if Arizona State obviously would have played better defense and you had, those secondary members that weren't just sitting flat-footed, if you had them deeper, that wouldn't have happened. So, regardless if they brought the blitz or not, that wasn't the problem. If you bring 8, obviously it's, 1-on-2, 1-on-1 deep. You just can't let the guy get behind you, and that's exactly what happened. And again, that's a fault of the secondary, not the blitz itself. So, if anything, the blitz was good because then obviously it forces them to get rid of the ball. Because how many times at the end of the game do we see teams only rush 1, 2, or 3, and they just sit back thinking that they are going to, bring 8 in defense and it's going to work? A lot of times that doesn't work. You got to be able to, bring the blitz, but also you got to make sure that you have your secondary players deep enough so that way, if they do catch the ball, it's not behind you. And then obviously for a score like we just saw. So I don't really mind with the defensive call. That was just a hell of a play by Ewers and the receiver. If you want to blame anyone, blame Arizona State secondary for being flat-footed and staring at Quinn Ewers too long. Just being out of position by a yard or two cost them that opportunity right there. All right, here, I got to see if they already are starting the game. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. I figured they were going to wait till this one was over, but all right, Texas about to win here. It's like, why they got the game on ESPN2? God damn it. Our game has started here, and obviously once we get this, everyone will be able to lock in. And I get it, you're on a schedule, and they didn't anticipate it to go into double overtime, but hold on one sec here. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm on it now. I got it. So for anyone that is wondering, it's on ESPN2. Some of the streaming apps are still going to be showing the other matchup, just to give you guys a heads up. But they have it on here. And again, the game is almost over on the other end for anyone that's waiting. If you have like a streaming link here. All right, Ohio State with the ball. First down and 10. Shotgun set. Howard scrambling towards the sideline and complete. I wish they just would have waited until the other game ended first. Especially when we don't have Notre Dame or Georgia after. It's not going to, hurt anybody to wait another 10 minutes to wait for the other game to end. Little play action. Uh-oh. The 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Buckeyes. And the Buckeyes score first. Extra point is up and good. Jeremiah Smith, we got to play better. Nice job by the Buckeyes. You already knew that this was going to be a dogfight, and I'm not a hater, right? We're going to make sure we're going to give proper love where love needs to be given. This is going to be a very big dogfight, and I feel the winner of this particular matchup is going to be by 3. Whatever the score is going to be, it's going to come down to that. But nice job by the Buckeyes. Not a good start for the Oregon Duck defense, but hopefully we can answer back with DG and Dylan Gabriel. 7-0 Buckeyes. Yeah, Jeremiah Smith, Egbuka, they got some studs, right? Henderson. It's not like, some people are thinking that Ohio State and Oregon are the 2 best teams in college football right now. Kind of hard to argue. We think that Texas is pretty good, but they might lose. Now it looks like they were going to win, right? But they were kind of pushed to the limit, right? And then you're starting to see kind of some of the other teams like Georgia. We assume that Georgia could get past Notre Dame, but you never know. Again, no one anticipated Arizona State. And that is it. The final score, Texas 39, Arizona State 31. And again, 2 missed field goals, and then that targeting call at the very end of regulation cost Arizona State. If they would have gotten the targeting call to go their way, they would have won. So again, I know some people are going to be frustrated and mad. Arizona State, Scatterboo played great, but sometimes, the refs will call something that, could go either way. And obviously, if they would have called targeting, the game would have ended with Arizona State as the victory winner. All right, come on, Ducks. First play here. Go Ducks. Good tackle there by the Buckeyes. Really loving the helmets and the color combos for the Ducks. Catch that, baby. Come on. Second down and 11. A little short game. DG. Little screen. And I got to wait for everything to get situated here. Fourth down. Okay, Oregon, like I said, it's not going to be easy, for either team. It's going to be a dogfight all the way to the end. Obviously, it would have been great not to give up a touchdown and to score one on our end. But again, this is a very, very long, thought-out game. It's going to, go down to the wire. Absolutely. Ducks with the punt. Glad they didn't do anything stupid there to go for it. Fair catch. Okay, hold up right here. Okay, I'm just trying to get everything situated here. I think we're good now. Okay, one sec. Okay. All right, let me get off this. Okay, I think we're good now. Just want to make sure I got everything locked in. All right, let's get all the stat pages up. Let's get everything going. I think we're good now. Stormbum in the building, Hybrid in the building. What's good? $4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Thank you for that, Sarah. So 1 o'clock Pacific for the Sugar Bowl. And like I said, it kind of sucks that a tragedy had to happen, for them to delay the game into tomorrow. But, prayers up to all the families. But I feel like, having it on another day is going to be, the right decision. Zay with a tenor. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 10. 90 to go to hit the goal. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you're in the room, help us get to 20 likes within the first hour. And then obviously 30 to 50. And then if we can hit that, we're going to try to get for 100 on the likes. And then obviously we'll be shooting for as many views as we possibly can get. 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. You never know, especially if we hit that algorithm. But shout out to the Buckeyes. They are legit. You could argue that these are the two best teams in college football right now. And again, I'm not really sure that these teams should be playing this early in this college football playoff tournament. It's definitely something the committee fucked up in. Like, this would have been a great natty rather than a quarterfinal. But again, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it all plays out. Shout out to Texas winning 39-31 in double overtime or overtime. And again, 2 missed field goals by Texas and a targeting call that was not upheld. Pretty much helped Texas advance. But you got to give Scatterboo and Arizona State a lot of love because they made it a hell of a lot closer than Boise State against Penn State yesterday. Facts. All right, I'm good now. Howard in the pocket, plenty of protection. Pick it off. Wow. Jeremiah Smith is a fucking alien. What a catch. What a throw by Howard. And we got to make sure our DBs are in better position there. But even if you're blanketing and single coverage, double coverage, Jeremiah Smith does things that even Egbuka can't do. That guy's the real deal. We've seen Ryan Williams on Alabama. And he's an amazing talent. But give me Jeremiah Smith. I like him even more. Nice job. Incredible player. Jeremiah Smith is one of those guys that could score 1, 2, 3, 4 times in a game. Hand off up the middle. There we go. There's the defense. Short game. First down and 10 on the Oregon 36. And then obviously that 1 yard gain. Second down and 9. Shotgun set. Down Buckeyes. Jeremiah Smith wheeling and dealing. There's nobody in the country that has a corner that can guard him. Yeah, I don't necessarily think that either one of these teams would smack Texas. Texas could beat both of these teams. You got to think there's 6 teams that could win it all. Right? Oregon, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame. Those are the teams that could win it all. And maybe Notre Dame, that's just being friendly and nice. But you never know. They might be able to beat Georgia. Howard, floater, incomplete. Thank God. Second down and 10 on the Oregon 36. I mean, if Arizona State, was able to get that targeting call, they would have won. Texas had those 2 missed field goals. I mean, if anything, if you're Arizona State, you feel a little cheated. But again, you fought hard and they were down the whole game. And, it shows you that Arizona State is built better than Boise State, depending on records. But again, Arizona State was supposed to finish last in the Big 12 in their first year, and they ended up not only winning the division, but they almost beat Texas. Give kudos to Scadaboo and the Sun Devils and Dillingham. He came from Oregon. Not surprised. Howard scrambling, gambling, get his ass. There we go. Yes. And if you need a link, Captain, I got one for you. And again, even though the 2 top streaming sites have been closed down as of yesterday, I have another one that is just as reliable as that one, if not more. But again, I had to go through like 15 of them to make sure I got one that I can trust that's going to be good. So again, I know your internet connection isn't the greatest where you live, but if you need one that's not going to buffer and it's going to be smooth, I got you. Howard, get his ass. Yeah. How did we not get the sack lunch there? I was salivating. Jordan Birch, baby. Yeah, I wouldn't lose faith in Texas. Arizona State's a good team. Just because people are surprised that a former Pac-12 team can actually play well. That's the problem. The narrative in college football is that if you're not in the Big Ten or SEC, that you stink. And it shows you that's not true. These other teams, have players and coaches that can get it done. You're always going to be able to favor the popular teams, but sometimes the non-popular teams can play just as well. And I wouldn't count Texas out with Quinn Ewers in that defense. Not one bit. Texas is good enough to win the Natty. You don't think that if Ohio State or if Oregon ended up playing Arizona State, that same thing couldn't happen? Of course it could. Scadaboo is a fucking beast. He's a dog. All right, DG, let's go. I don't think anyone anticipated Texas missing 2 field goals, and again, their defense was awesome. Did you see how many times they stopped Arizona State on 4th down? Think about your favorite team if they could stop someone on 4th down. For a lot of us, we can't, and again, so I feel like, it wasn't Texas's best performance, and it was a little ugly at times, and maybe they got a little favoritism, by not getting that targeting call at the end that would have affected the game, and 2 missed field goals. But at the end of the day, right, a win is a win. No matter if it's by a blowout or only by 1 point, sometimes it's a beautiful win, sometimes it's an ugly win. But again, I wouldn't count out Texas to win it all. And this is me being an Oregon fan saying that because I'm not biased. I can definitely tell Oregon, right? Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame. And obviously we assume that with like Notre Dame would be the last to do it, as far as like rankings, like out of the 6 teams, who is least likely to win it all? Probably Notre Dame. Even if they beat Georgia, probably still Notre Dame. And then if Notre Dame matched up against Penn State, could they beat them? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, But again, I wouldn't count out Texas just yet. They definitely got pushed to the limits. But again, you have to give Dillingham credit. Instead of just saying Texas sucks, give them credit for what they were able to do with their defense and give Arizona State credit for making it closer than people were anticipating. Scadaboo's draft stock went through the roof. Running for touchdown, throwing for touchdown, blocking for touchdowns. I mean, if you really look at that game compared to Genty, Scadaboo looks better. And again, Scadaboo can do it against harder defenses. Genty, it looks like he can't. And again, if you can't do it against good defenses in college and you don't have an offensive line in the NFL, what is Genty going to do? Is he going to end up being, Saquon Barkley, or is he going to be less than Saquon Barkley? And that's why you want to make sure you're evaluating properly, because obviously if you're in a particular division like the MAC or the WAC and you're Boise State, you didn't really play anybody besides Oregon, right? And you played very, very well against Oregon in the early part of our season where our offensive line was hurt and we weren't really playing well, and our OC really wasn't calling a full playbook. It was a pretty vanilla playbook, but you still got to give them credit, but that's one alarming thing for me. Like, if you can't do it against Penn State, how are you going to do it in the NFL if you don't have a good offensive line? Now, if he goes to a good offensive line, Scadaboo and Genty are going to be amazing. But again, if their offensive lines are shitty, we might not be talking about those guys as much, going into next year. Yeah, but that's a field goal kicker's fault. Just because one player, fucked up doesn't mean the whole team is terrible. It's more of an Arizona State thing than a Texas thing. And I know for a lot of y'all, it's hard to be able to admit, if you're a Big Ten fan or an SEC fan and you've been for a long, long time. But guess what? There's other teams that are out there, not necessarily maybe from the MAC or the WAC or the ACC. Those are kind of garbage. But again, if you get a Pac-12 school that goes to the Big 12, or you get someone from the Pac-12 that goes to the Big 10, we already proven that, we can step in and do well. Here we go. I mean, the Big Ten is king. That's one thing that we can agree on, Zay. The Big Ten is the best conference in college football, right? They have Texas, they have Georgia, but again, we got more. We got Ohio State, we got Penn State, we got Oregon. Hell, even Michigan played fucking badass at the end of the year, beating Ohio State and then beating the shit out of Alabama. So, Big Ten is king. Second down and 8. DG, tipped and complete. Third down and 8 on the Oregon 22. Good defense there on DG. Pass incomplete to Tez Johnson, 4th down and 8. And again, this is not the start that we wanted. But again, when you end up playing a team that this could have been maybe the national championship, this could have ended up being the last game of the year. Kind of unfair that we have to get it in a quarterfinal rather than later on. But again, you have to give Ohio State credit, where credit needs to be given. They didn't look good against Michigan, and we have to play like Michigan did. But again, you have to get pressure, on Howard, because if you let him sit back there just like Dylan Gabriel, they will tear you apart. Yeah, it's so early, man. I mean, what did you expect Oregon just to come in here against every opponent, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Georgia, Notre Dame, and all of a sudden we're just going to be up 21-0 against everyone? Fuck no. There's going to be some struggles. There's going to be, some adversity. We only beat this team by fucking 1 point. So it's not like if the game wasn't played at Autzen, we've beaten them in the shoe when we didn't have Kayvon Thibodeau. We played them at Autzen and we won by 1. But let's just be real for a second. We easily could have lost that game. That was probably one of the most memorable games of my entire life. But, I mean, we literally could have lost that game, right? So, I mean, let's give the Buckeyes credit. And, again, they have good playmakers. Their quarterback, sometimes is mid, average to above average. But at times he looks great, right? They got great running backs, fantastic wide receivers. The defense is lit. They have plenty of guys that can get to the pass rush, on that side of the ball. So this is not going to be easy whatsoever. And again, there's going to have to be halftime adjustments that are made. And hopefully, if we're down, at that point, we're not down by more than 10. Hopefully it's within 10 points or less. So that way that, we can actually make the adjustments and hopefully come back. So, we're going to get it into rhythm here. But again, lots of emotions, lots of energy. And again, it's not like we have had a game in a while. We've been off for a little bit. So, when you haven't played a football game in quite a few days, sometimes it takes a little bit of a rhythm to get back going. So, still early. Scott's like, yeah, I want to be up 21-0 on every opponent. I mean, I wish we were that good, but unfortunately, there's nobody in college football that's that good this year. Where it's like that Alabama, Georgia team that we know that's got like 50 NFL players like a few years ago, right? And you knew that they were going to beat the shit out of everyone. It didn't matter who it was. Unfortunately, in college football, we don't have a team like that. We have about 5 or 6 solid teams, on offense and defense, but there's not one team that anybody can say, yep, they're the best. Ohio State, great. Oregon, great, right? Penn State, great, right? Georgia and Texas, they're great. Notre Dame, they've been a little bit better than normal this year. They've been great too. So, those 6 teams, we'll see what happens. And any combination of those 6 teams could end up in the Natty. Tough matchup. 7-0 Buckeyes. Yeah. I mean, also too, for some of y'all, you've only been fans, for a few years. Imagine, watching the Ducks play and rooting them on and them winning one game a year. That's my life. For some of y'all, you guys are in the Chip Kelly era and beyond, where all you're used to seeing is the Ducks winning 10, 11, 12 games a year. So again, for some of us OGs, we started watching in the 80s and 90s where we were winning like a game or two a year. So you have to appreciate the journey. Not everything is going to come easy, and you got to go through the pain before you go through the joy. And we have to make adjustments. And plain and simple, Ohio State has fucking dogs out there. Jeremiah Smith might be the best receiver in the fucking land, right? So even regardless if Oregon's playing them, Texas, Georgia, Penn State, whoever, he's going to do that to everyone. It's not like he's just going to expose Oregon. Our defense is good this year. Jeremiah Smith could literally score against any fucking defense. So don't be so sad that he ended up getting a tutty. I mean, he's that good. Howard, Egbuka, another guy that will be in the NFL, and he's just up north here, about a couple 100 miles from the state of Washington. Imagine if the Huskies were able to lock down Egbuka. 7-0 Buckeyes. Handoff. Henderson, another good player for them. First down. Buckeyes. Move the chains. And we'll give them the proper love. I got a nice little spinning logo for the Buckeyes. We're at 10, 90 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Make sure we're keeping up on the likes and the donos on the stream. I told you not to be a hater in the beginning of the stream, Like I said, sports gods. Touchdown, Buckeyes. Egbuka, what did I say? I know things, you act like I don't know things. Like the sports gods, they talk to me, You never want to poke fun at a team for, missing a couple field goals, because lo and behold, sports gods are like, all right, you want to make fun of Texas for missing a couple field goals? How about being down 14-0? How do you feel now? And again, Ohio State didn't play very good against Michigan, right? But they've turned the corner against Tennessee, even though the SEC and some of their teams are a little weak. They're flying high right now. Extra point is up and good. 14-0 Buckeyes. Come on, Ducks. But again, when Oregon is good, right, we have to be able to get pressure, and we can't get beat deep, right? You have to be able to get to the quarterback, and the defense hasn't been very good so far. Maybe that extra time off, not ideal. Ohio State played Tennessee, so they've been playing football, as Oregon had that extra time off. And as we know, just like in the MLB playoffs, right, when we end up seeing teams that end up having a bye, a lot of times they lose compared to teams that are continuously playing almost every week. You're keeping into that rhythm. You have a week or 2 weeks off. Sometimes you're going to come out a little flat. So, OH, you might be a Husky fan, AM, but we're not done yet. 14-0 Buckeyes. Great start for them. Not the greatest start for the Ducks, but we got plenty of time. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We need 5 more to get to 20. We're at 15 right now. And that's the difference between Husky fans, some of them, and Duck fans. Some Duck fans, including myself, we were actually rooting for the Huskies to win the championship last year. We're not haters, but apparently sometimes you get some Husky fans that are. Don't be mad at us that you guys weren't able to complete the journey last year. We wouldn't have beat Michigan either if we would have beat y'all. Nice tackle there by the Buckeyes. Ohio State moves very, very fast, sideline to sideline. And again, them playing against Tennessee was an advantage, instead of Oregon, having that extra time off. Little screen pass. 3rd down and 8 at the Oregon 27. Yeah, well, if you had better coaching and would have went for 1 instead of 2, then maybe you would have won in overtime. 3rd down and 7, but at least you had the receiver with Giles getting 4 tutties. That was nice. But it's not like the Huskies were that good this year in college football. Let's be honest. You lost too much, including your coach, who's not very good on Alabama. 3rd down and 7. There we go. T. Ferg, 1st down, Ducks. Panthers fan, $2 holla. Absolutely, Abdul Carter would fit Carolina's defense. He'd fit anybody's defense. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you, $2 holla. Let me know what you want for photos. If you want Abdul Carter, I'll get you at the commercial break. Let's go, baby. We're at 12, 88 to go. Shotgun set. Come on, Jordan James. We're going to need you. There you go. Let's go. 1st down, Ducks. Throwback, Mike Minter. I got you. Shotgun set. Gabriel going long, going deep. Got a man. Up in the air, incomplete. Same thing with you, Zay. Let me know what you want for a photo. I got you. Come on, Taz. Good defense there by the Buckeyes. They're playing with a lot of energy. Ducks are one of the best teams to make adjustments in the second half. So, for me, down 14-0. I know for some of y'all in the room, you're probably freaking out. But again, I've been a fan of this team when we won 1 game a year. Being down is nothing new to me. So again, we just have to be able to pluck away, chip away, and just find a way to get a field goal or a touchdown to stop the bleeding. And hopefully the defense can step up, because obviously 14 points in the first half, especially in the first quarter, is too much. Well, we played the Saints in the last game, so we're going to make it. There we go, DG. Yeah, the Bucs are going to make the playoffs. They are going to win the division again. I mean, if Atlanta had any chance, they had to win that last game. So since they have the matchup head to head, win against the Bucs in those two games, fourth down. Darius Garland got you. Sprinkle these photos in real quick. Appreciate you. Nice job by the Buckeyes. And honestly, I'm not surprised. I kind of expected them to do this. All right, see if we can get a couple of Darius Garlands in here for Zays Dono as well. 14-0 Buckeyes. So we got the Mentors. We got the Darius Garland. What are we at? 12. 78 to go. 88 to go. What's the Cavs record right now? They're still balling? I assume they are. I'm sprinkling these as quick as I can for you. See if I can get you one more. Just got to make sure that they load up properly here. All right, baby. There's a couple mentors. For Panthers fan, Abdul Carter would be a great fit. We know, obviously, Zay is an Ohio State fan, obviously, Cavs fan as well. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, I see you. Appreciate you. 14-0 Buckeyes. $29-4. Nice. Well, I could give two fucks about your bet. Yeah, well, it all depends if we hit the algorithm. The more people that we can get smash the like button and then hit the algorithm, we can go from 25 to 125 in a matter of minutes. And then if it ends up getting to a closer matchup in the second half, it could end up being 100, 200, 500, 600, 700. When we ended up doing Oregon and Wisconsin, and Wisconsin was putting the pressure on. We had over 700 in the room. So, of course, most of them are going to be haters. Like Big John. Coming in and hoping that the Ducks lose and whatnot. So, it is what it is. You're going to get people that want the Ducks to win, but you're definitely going to get people that are hoping that they lose, just like any of the top dogs in college football. Not anymore. Bye, Big John. You can watch somewhere else, bud. There we go. Good tackle by the Ducks. Judkins run for another yard, 3rd down and 4. We just need to be able to get off the field, instead of have them go, first down after first down after first down. We got to get to Howard. We got to make him uncomfortable. Same thing goes for Ohio State's defense against Oregon. Make Dylan Gabriel uncomfortable. He's a Charger Herbert guy, supposedly. Pass complete to Jeremiah Smith. Gosh, man, it just doesn't stop, doesn't it? And it shows you when you end up going against someone that is maybe the best at their position, no matter who you have, sometimes it's just not enough. 1-on-1. And again, it's like we have a good defense, but again, Jeremiah Smith is the best receiver in football. First down, Buckeyes. Man, this might be 21-0 in just a matter of seconds. Come on, Ducks. And again, it's like you can't let the receiver get behind you. But again, someone with that kind of speed, even if they have like a 10-yard, start and they're just waiting for the guy to catch up when a guy is flat-footed compared to a guy that's running full speed, you're not going to have that same type of speed and recovery, once you've started flat-footed and a guy is coming at you, running with like 4.2 speed. Pass incomplete to Jeremiah Smith. What do you know? Fucking A. Little bit out of reach. Third down and 5. Can we get off the field? And we're gonna have to get some things going. Pass complete to Mecca Egbuka, 15 yards. Man, the secondary does not look good today. First down, Buckeyes. But you got to give Ohio State credit. They're playing very, very well. Having that time against Tennessee is an advantage over Oregon sitting, for that extended period of time, and it shows. Ref got in the way there, too. First down, Buckeyes. Well, Howard with a short gain of 1 or none, second down and 10. And again, this is the type of game where we're going to need turnovers. We're going to need sack lunches, punch outs, fumbles, picks. We're going to need a little bit of everything. They're coming out here like they're trying to not only beat Oregon, but they're trying to win the whole thing. Should have handed that ball off. Good tackle there by Oregon. No gain. Yeah, unexcusable for Howard to be over 200 fucking yards in the first quarter. If this was Oregon's team from back in the day that didn't have a defense, I would be like, okay, fine. But, it hurts a little bit when we actually have a good defense. And, but again, he's the best wide receiver in the game. Ryan Williams is very, very talented, but I don't think anyone would choose Ryan Williams over Jeremiah Smith. Oh, urinating tree mentioned? Urinating tree knows who I am? Nice. I assume a lot of people know who I am out there, but that's very nice of him. Bouncing it to the outside. I mean, I know he, obviously he's a Steeler fan? But there's nobody that's a bigger Duck fan on YouTube than me, as far as streamers are concerned. Mariners and Ducks. End of the first quarter, 14-0 Buckeyes. Nice job, Buckeyes. And we'll get a photo up of Jeremiah Smith because he deserves one. Now, obviously, if I was a hater, this would never happen. But, of course, I am not a hater. I appreciate greatness wherever it's at. Tight beats. I appreciate that. Well, that's nice that urinating tree is helping your boy out. But again, we don't got an answer for this, and I was hoping that we could contain him to a certain degree. There's no way you're going to stop him, but it really does show how much better he is than everyone else at that wide receiver position. Shout out to Jeremiah Smith. Making Oregon Duck fans definitely feel a little nervous right now, but it's not over yet. But again, not a good first quarter for the Ducks, a fantastic first quarter for the Buckeyes. Shout out to Urinating Tree. Yeah, we're gonna have to make adjustments, obviously, after halftime and during halftime. But we definitely have to stop the bleeding. We can't give up another 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, and not only that, we have to be able to stop the bleeding, even if it's a field goal. Just getting something rather than nothing. But again, it just hasn't been good. The offensive line and the defensive line have been outplayed by Ohio State, and it shows. And again, we've seen Howard look average and bad, but then we've also seen Howard look like this, where he looks like he could be a Heisman candidate. And every week is going to be a little bit different, and it shows you with Michigan, they were able to get to him. So far, we're not able to get to him yet, and we're down big, 14-0. Should have never made that comment of making fun of Texas missing those field goals. I told you. But you live and you learn. And also we need Jordan James to be effective. Again, if we can't get the running game, we don't want to turn into one-dimensional just throwing the football, because if that happens, then it's going to be a blowout and we're going to lose big. We have to make sure we have a balanced offense, and Jordan James and company, they have to step up. We have to get a couple first downs with them, and that'll open up the passing game. To not only Furr get tight end, but Tez, Evan Stewart, and everyone else. But again, you can't be one-dimensional. You have to make sure that you're keeping it as 50-50 as possible. Howard incomplete to Jeremiah Smith. Thank God. 4th down and 5 on the Oregon 28. Good defense there by the Ducks. Haven't been able to say that too much. Field goal is up and good. 17-0 Buckeyes. Nice job. All right, Ducks, your turn. Let's go, baby. Wake up. Come on, Dan. You can already just assume what he's going to be talking about. The urgency and playing with pride. And again, we have to be able to get the running game going, and that's usually the first part. Then eventually, this will get better, right? And then this will get better, and then eventually it'll lead to something big like this. But again, you just can't fast forward and go to this right away. You just can't go here to here. Like Howard and Jeremiah Smith, we're going to have to earn it. Oh, man. I don't think any Buckeye fan predicted 17-0, and there's definitely no Duck fans that predicted fucking 17-0, but this is the reality. Again, this is a very, very tough opponent. And again, this could have ended up being the natty overall, at the very, very end. And a lot of people thought that these were the two best, going in. And Ohio State, very, very good. Texas, very, very good, right? Ohio State, Penn State, very, very good. Georgia, Notre Dame, they're very, very good. So, any of those 6 teams could end up winning it all, and hopefully we can fight back, because this is not a representation of who we are. But you also have to give credit where credit is due. Ohio State Buckeyes are very, very good. They had a couple losses, one by Michigan and one by Oregon by 1 point that they could have won. So it's not like this is a bad team. They're very good. Big hit. Jordan James, I need you. Wake up. Come on, baby. Offensive line needs to do a better job. And a safety coming up there and blasting him. Jordan James for 1 yard, 3rd down and 6. Offensive line is just getting completely dominated up front. And our defensive line isn't getting the pressure that we usually do. Hopefully that'll change in this quarter in the second half. I mean, doing little halfback dives and counters ain't going to cut it. We need to be able to bounce it to the outside. You got to pivot and adjust. There we go. Dylan Gabriel to Trayshawn Holden. First down, Oregon. Here we go. Come on, Ducks. Just got to get a field goal or a touchdown to stop the bleeding, and then we'll be fine. You know. Gabriel. Wow, that throw is incredibly low to Trayshawn Holden. And now Jordan James run for 2 yards. 2nd down and 8 at the Oregon 43. Now, refs are kind of getting in the way, aren't they, Zay? There's been a couple plays where they're kind of out of position, where players are having to run through them or around them. Like, get the fuck out of the way. Jordan James run for no gain. 3rd down and 8 at the Oregon 43. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Make sure we keep track of that on the chat as well. We need 2 more to get to 20, and then we'll be into the algorithm. So we're at 18 right now. Now we're at 19. We need 1 more. And then hopefully we can keep continuing that trend. There we go. Gabriel passed to Taz for 5 yards, 4th down and 3 at the Oregon 48. And it's like when you get yourself in a position like this, you know, where it's only a couple yards and you're out midfield, you're down 17, you know, makes you a little nervous. Timeout, Ohio State. Buckeyes flying around out there looking like an NFL team. You know, it's like if you punt, that's the smart thing to do, right? But again, your defense hasn't been able to stop anyone, right? But then if you go for it and you don't get it, they could score in one play. They could just go to Jeremiah Smith deep, and then all of a sudden we're down 24-0, and then, you know, the comeback is much, much harder. So this is going to be very interesting here. But if you do get it, it could keep the momentum going, and we might be able to get 6 out of it. Very, very tough decision, you know, especially when you're at the 50 or close to the 50-yard line. It's like, do you play, you know, the conservative smart way and punt, you know, and, you know, try to hope that your defense can get the stop and play the field position game? You know, do you go for it and not get it and then gives all the momentum back to Ohio State and they only need a couple plays for a touchdown? You know, so many different things could happen here. But that's why these guys get paid the way that they do. And, I don't really know what to say. You know, it's like I said, it's like normally my brain is like, you know, punt. Don't even think about it, you know, just based on how Ohio State has played. But, you know, I do think that we could get 3 yards, but I don't think I would run the ball. I think if we would have to go for 4th and 3, we have to pass it. Go to Ferg or Taz or Evan Stewart. We're going to have to throw the football. But Ohio State has been so good at covering and their run defense, there's no guarantee that we throw it and get the first down. So, oh, man, pulling my heartstrings already here on January 1st, 2025. Unbelievable. Well, not only that, but again, you know, them playing when Ohio State, you know, needed to play to get that momentum, beating Tennessee, and then Oregon just sitting and waiting. You know, you don't really notice it as much on the NFL side, but you do notice it on like the baseball side. The teams that end up getting the bye, a lot of times they don't win. because they're just sitting there too long, and the teams that are continuously playing have an advantage because they're in that same routine and rhythm week in and week out. All right, we had 20. Let's go. Let's try to get to 30 now. Good start. Appreciate you guys. Gained a couple subs here today as well as last night. We only need 16 more to get to 20,700. Shout out to all the new subs today, last night, and as well as this month. Happy New Year's. Happy 2025. Come on, baby. Wake up. We need you. Let's go, Tez. Definitely need Jordan James to get loose at some point. Definitely shows you how important offensive line and defensive line are, not only on the NFL side, but the college football side as well. Pass incomplete to Terrence Ferguson. A turnover on downs. Fuck. And obviously getting down 17-0 affected this decision to go for it. And just like I mentioned, the safe thing to do is just to punt it, but the defense hasn't been good today. And, you got to give Ohio State credit. They are balling today. Terrible decision making by Gabriel there. I have no idea, Panthers fan. There's been some people that have been rocking with me since my very first year in 2017. I mean, I've been recording for 12 years, but this is my 8th year on YouTube. So, but I was doing like Facebook and other things back in the day, but I'm not too sure when you joined, but I started in 2017. We're in 2025 now. So, oh, fuck. Judkins, 5-yard gain, 2nd down and 5 to the Oregon 43. And obviously, this is not who we are, as a team. But you have to give credit, to the Buckeyes. They had a good game plan. They've been in rhythm, pretty much playing every week. They haven't had any time off to think about it. And we might have been able to get some of our players rested up, but we are very, very rusty, as you can see. This is not who we are. But you got to give credit to the Buckeyes. They've been playing great on the O-line and the D-line, and that's why they're up 17-0. Touchdown, Buckeyes. Unbelievable. Wow. Nice job by the Buckeyes. 23, now 24-0, Ohio State. Unbelievable. Well, I mean, it's not over yet, but fucking it's looking pretty over. And we got a lot of time still to go, but I mean, if Ohio State plays like this, shit, they're going to go all the way. But again, we don't know how they would play against Texas, and if they beat Texas, then Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia. But I don't think anybody anticipated this. But again, O-line, D-line getting dominated, secondary getting dominated, and I want close games, not blowouts, and unbelievable. Terrible, terrible, terrible defense. And again, Chip Kelly doing Chip Kelly things. And anyone that thinks that, he can't be the head coach of Ohio State if they fire Ryan Day, obviously is kidding yourself, because he definitely could be the head coach. Wow. Well, I wasn't expecting 24-0, but it is what it is. I mean, it's one thing to have a terrible O-line and a terrible D-line, but we can't have terrible O-line, terrible D-line, and terrible secondary all in the same fucking game. But I guess that's what it is. Yeah, and anyone that's acting like they knew that this was going to happen, you're a fucking liar. No one knew that this was going to happen. 0%. Nobody. You know, you might have had people thinking that Ohio State would win or Ohio State would have a lead, but no one on planet Earth predicted 24-0 in the first half. Fuck out of here. I mean, there's always going to be people hoping, you know, that certain situations happen. Or like rooting for the underdog, right? Rooting for Boise State, rooting for Arizona State, you know, but Arizona State played better than expected. Oregon playing worse than expected. So, but it shows you O-line, P-line, secondary, you know, if you can't play good in those positions, you'll definitely get roughed up. You know, I figured that this game would be very, very close, and I figured whoever was going to win, Oregon or Ohio State, it would be by 3 points. You know, 31-28, 34-31, you know, 41-38, something like that. Not 24-0. And if we're really being honest, this isn't good for college football. You know, I mean, obviously for Buckeye fans, it's great, but for everyone that's not a Buckeye fan or a Duck fan, this isn't ideal. You know, we don't want to see a blowout. We want to see a close game, you know. Regardless if Oregon wins or loses, you want it to be back and forth like their first matchup at Autzen, not so fucking one-sided. And we don't get Georgia and Notre Dame because you had that crazy fucker that ran over 10 people and killed them, so that they had to fucking, you know, shut down Mardi Gras, and then they had to shut down the fucking Sugar Bowl until tomorrow. So, oh, great. Jordan James in the locker room. Jesus Christ. Does it get any worse for us? Wow. But like I mentioned, you know, whether we win the Natty this year or if we end up losing, you know, it feels like we're getting close. You know, so obviously, you know, as long as we have Dan Lanning, and if we end up dropping this game, which it looks like we are, right? I don't think we're going to come back from 24, but I've seen crazier things happen, you know. But I mean, the only way that we come back in this game is we'd have to play like the best second half of our lives and force overtime, and then somehow, by some way, you know, win by 3. But the chances of that happening so far, looking at this game, is like 0. Let's be real, right? But I'm not going to let this loss, if it does happen, you know, affect my mental health. You know, I already knew how tough this was going to be. Ohio State, Texas, and then either Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia. That's a very tough path for Oregon. DG. And complete. Yeah, obviously the last game was very, very good with Texas and Arizona State. That might have been the best college football playoff game so far. And I was assuming that this was going to be close, and Notre Dame and Georgia were going to be close, and those other two first games could potentially be blowouts, but Arizona State came to play, and Oregon has not. I mean, all I ever wanted is to see Oregon win one natty before I die, and the Mariners to win one pennant before I die, and it was looking like we had a pretty good chance up to this point, but, good teams, that stay in line of playing week to week, there is an advantage there. And plus having us match up against Ohio State in the first round, the college football playoff committee did that just for the rematch purpose, but this would have been a better matchup like at the end or later in the playoffs, even if we were going to lose instead of just losing in the first game after us sitting. So, but, I have really nothing bad to say about Ohio State because I'm not a hater. They had a good game plan. Chip Kelly has been fantastic. Ryan Day has done a great job. Offensive line, defensive line, secondary, all of their pieces have been flying around playing great. And normally for us, we have a good running game that opens up the passing game. Now Jordan James is hurt. The offensive line is playing bad. Defensive line can't get pressure on Howard. He's got plenty of time back there. Jeremiah Smith is undoubtedly the best receiver in the game. And if you didn't think so, he proved it today if you were kind of doubting it, right? So you got to make sure that you salute them, and maybe they'll go all the way. I mean, obviously Texas is not going to be easy. That one could go either way there. And then if Ohio State wins this and they beat Texas, they're going to have to match up against Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia. So, we'll see where it goes. But one thing that I will say is that if Oregon obviously drops this game, which it looks like they are, if Ohio State wins this game, right, and they beat Texas, they're probably going to go all the way. It's like you're feeding off the momentum. If you can get past the two teams that were most probably, thought of winning it all, Oregon and Texas, besides like maybe Georgia, then you're probably going to go all the way. And, you never know, what, team is going to be able to bring on that any given playoff or scenario. And, I know we're going to make adjustments in the second half, but with Jordan James now injured and, I don't know, we don't really look like we have an answer for them right now. Unfortunate. Yeah, we're at 894 likes. You never know, how many people are, watching, and sometimes, numbers can be skewed and whatnot. But yeah, hopefully we can get some more bodies in the room. And that's why I never, get, overconfident and cocky, no matter if we're, 13-0, first year in the Big Ten, that we won it all, until the college football playoff is over and there's one team left standing, then you celebrate, but again, we had a very, very good year. We've been number one for a long, long time. And even number one teams have off games or bad games where they get dominated by a team that is very, very good. And, this is where we're at. And hopefully, down the sideline, is he going to score? Jesus Christ. Touchdown, Buckeyes. Have we just given up? Henderson with a tutty down the sideline. Yeah, this one is completely over. Wow. Unbelievable. 31-0. No one anticipated this. Man, I'm going to have to start getting likes, subs, and donos for therapy after this kind of game. Jesus Christ. Nice job by Henderson. But this is, not a representation of the Ducks whatsoever. And hopefully, next year and the year after, as long as Dan Lanning is there, sometimes you got to crawl before you walk. Sometimes you got to feel the pain before you feel the joy. And I am confident with Lanning, we can win it all one day, but it just doesn't seem like that day is today. And that sucks. Extra point is up and good. 31-0. Buckeyes. Now hit me with your therapy donos. I'm going to need them. Hopefully we can get to a hundo just based on that, because trust me, if your favorite team was the Ducks like me, you have no idea the emotions that I'm feeling right now. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. I need the therapy donos. They'll start coming in. Appreciate you. Well, you probably will. That's why I said, don't poke the bear and make fun of another team. Sports God said, oh, you want to make fun of that missing field goals? And then now we're down 31-0. Great. That's why you never poke the bear. You never talk shit. You have to be humble. You appreciate everything that has been given to you. Everything has to be earned. Sports gods don't fuck around whatsoever. 31-0. Unfucking believable. $2 holla, stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Hey, let them come in. I mean, people are still, going to show love and respect, Oh, my God. Well, hopefully we can get some more subs, views, likes, donos to help with this performance that we're seeing here today. Incomplete. Incomplete, and another pass, incomplete. Golly. 4th down and 12, but it shows you, if your O-line isn't there, your D-line isn't there, your secondary isn't there, your running game isn't there, your quarterback isn't there, then all of those things add up to an ass whooping. Shit, I'm going to need it. I mean, it's one thing to lose, but I don't want to give up, and I don't want to get fucking torched like this. That's why, again, you never want to, start, thinking ahead. As good as Oregon was, 13-0, the only undefeated team, the Big Ten is king, right? Penn State looks great. Ohio State looks great. Oregon looked great going into this game. But again, you never know what game you're going to get. Michigan, with a bunch of losses, was able to beat this team, right, with good defense and making Howard uncomfortable, even with 3, 4, 5 losses. So, rivalry game, knowing that opponent. Just unfortunate that, looking ahead, is not something that you want to do in sports. Man, I mean, 31-0, unbelievable. Oh, man. I mean, it's one thing to lose, or to lose against Ohio State or Texas or Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia in the Natty. It's all painful, but I don't deserve this. If we're not going to win the Natty this year, fine, but I don't deserve this. 31-0? I mean, I've been watching the team play since the 80s when they would win one game a year. Do I really deserve this? Fuck. Chief will chief. $5 holla. Run right up the gut, and the defense has given up. I mean, especially with that long touchdown by, it's like you got Henderson, you got Judkins. Yeah. Help me out with some therapy donos, because imagine if your team was my team and you were in a position like this. If you got extra dollars to go my way, I'm going to need it. I got bills to pay, and I need my mental health to be in a good spot. Appreciate you. If we can at least get to gold, that might end up making the day a little bit better. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus stack, bang, bang. I got no Georgia, Notre Dame stream to go to after this. So I'm just going to have to sit here and fucking have this stew and melt all for fucking today and tonight until we get into tomorrow. And then the rest of the fucking season. Zay with a tenner. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus stack, bang, bang. Let's go. We're at 1,200 likes on the stream. So you never know where people are watching or tuning in, even if we have not that many people in the room. But again, you never know how you're going to hit the algorithm. That's why I tell you guys it's so important that we can get those likes as soon as possible. You never know when you're going to get into an algorithm where you're going to get more people being able to see what you have. So, oh man. I was so excited for this game. I could hardly sleep last night. And maybe it looks like I didn't drink and get hungover or anything like that. I just spent time with my pup. Went for 2 walks earlier today, and this is how I get repaid and rewarded, I guess. 3rd down and 2 by the Buckeyes, Oregon Ducks. This defense reminds me of the defense that we used to have when we were ranked like 100th out of like 120 Division I teams. Like, terrible. 1st down, Buckeyes. Yeah, Urinating Trees fan base might have been a part, responsible for all of the likes on the stream. Anytime you end up getting, bigger channels that have, more subs, when you're looking at the whole spectrum of things, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, depending on what they're doing. It's always nice to be able to be recognized, by other big streamers. I mean, I think people know who I am. It's not like people don't know. They know I do the Mariners. They know I do the Ducks, and I do a little bit of everything. So, but that's pretty cool to, have Urinating Tree shout me out, knowing I'm really the only Duck, live streamer that does every game and that is passionate about the team, just like he is about the Steelers. And, if that was part of getting those likes up to that number, I really appreciate it. Yeah, but again, I know some people want to see me just fucking lose my shit like you see those people do fake videos on the internet where they punch their TV or throw the computer and, break shit on stream and just act a fool, But again, I'm a little bit more mature than a lot of those people, Obviously inside the pain hurts, But again, I appreciate greatness for what greatness is. And obviously this wasn't our year, A lot of Duck fans already just assumed we were going to win it all. But again, you have to take every opponent seriously, and we met the opponent that might end up going all the way. The Big Ten is king, right? It might end up being Ohio State, Penn State in the Natty. It could be Big Ten versus Big Ten. You never know. And we hit 1,500 views yesterday. I know we're going to get a hell of a lot more today. Floater, incomplete. Even the bots are trying to come in. Yeah, no, you want me to do that to go viral, but that's being fake. And that's why you like that type of stuff, right? Because a lot of people like fake people, right? And again, I'm not fake at all. I'm not going to do some fake reaction. I'm not going to do some fake bullshit. There's already too many people out there that are not genuine and fake that are streamers, that are good actors and actresses. So I don't need a quick payday or to go viral and act a fool when that's not who I am. So I actually have morals and standards. I'll do things the hard way, the right way. Happy New Year's, Chief. Third down and 8, 31-0, Buckeyes. And I'll tell you what, since I am such a hardcore fan, I'm going to handle this game and this loss better than any other Oregon Duck fan on planet Earth. I'll tell you that. Pass incomplete to Trayvon Henderson. 4th down and 8. Field goal is up and good. 34-0 Buckeyes. What a great way to get into 2025 as Duck fans, huh? You know? Happy New Year! Let's get our ass kicked by 34, and the game's not even over yet. It's only not even halftime. We're on pace to lose 68-0. Is that good? Fuck me. But again, the Buckeyes are a team that wanted revenge on Oregon. Could have won that game at Autzen. They wanted obviously to relieve their anger that when they lost to Michigan. And again, that's why you never can look ahead. This is a good moral to the story. Only undefeated team, 13-0, first year in the Big Ten, no problem, winning the Big Ten. But again, you always want to respect the opponent. Over 1,200 likes. I like that. Well, anyone that's dumb enough to bet big money, that's on you. It's always hilarious, too, where people want to bitch and complain when they lose money. That's not on me. That's on you. And I'll say another thing right now too. If this game obviously is over, right? And most Oregon fans, or fans in general would be like, "Oh, fuck that team," right? Fuck the Buckeyes, hey, fuck that. But I'm not like that. Obviously, if the Buckeyes win the game, which they will, I want them to go all the way. Again, if you're going to beat us this way, I want you to beat Texas. I want you to beat Penn State, Georgia, Notre Dame, and I want you to represent for our conference, the Big Ten. And I don't think a lot of Duck fans would say that, again, because I'm not a hater. I appreciate greatness where greatness is, and I was just hoping that, that we would be on the 34-0 side, but I don't think anyone would have anticipated that either. If Oregon was up 34-0, I wanted a close, competitive matchup like we had at Autzen, but shout out to the Buckeyes. They are the real deal, and I'm going to root for them to go all the way. And I might be the only Oregon Duck fan on planet Earth to say that, but that's how I feel. I want the best to win. If this is what we're going to have, then keep it going. But there is no guarantee. Just because you beat Oregon 68-0 doesn't mean you're going to beat Texas, right? You have to respect the opponent every single way. Even though Texas looked a little flawed, but you can look a lot different from one week to the next. Looking at Michigan's game against Ohio State, then against Tennessee, where they blew them out, and then to what we're seeing now here against Oregon. Marcos in the building. What's good? Yeah, well, if any team is 13-0 and the only undefeated team in football, right? There's no scenario on planet Earth where anybody anticipated this. So, again, if you're an Oregon fan, yeah, you assume that you're going to be able to hopefully find a way to win barely by three, and then you get to the championship and maybe it's by 3, but I don't think anyone anticipated 34-0, It's sports. Anyone that is a Duck fan like myself would have been expecting the same thing. But the difference is I never claimed that we were going to win the Natty. I never claimed that we were going to go all the way. And it was a done deal. I never said that. I already knew that you had to respect the opponent. So, and you know what I think about you? Goodbye. What's good, Marcos? I mean, all I can do is support my team, that I've been a fan of, for 35 plus years. That's going to be a lot longer than a lot of people that are even in the room that are, not even that age. So, it hurts. I'm not going to lie. Losing by, even one would hurt, but this is how it goes. And I think every single year, in this college football playoff, is going to show you it's up for grabs. It's like no matter what you do in the regular season, that's all fine and dandy. Winning, the Big Ten or the SEC or whatever, right? But just because you do that, you have to go back through the ringer and start over. And again, it shows you. It looks like teams that end up having the, first round are at more of an advantage than teams that are sitting. If the teams that are sitting and waiting a week, just like in the MLB playoffs, it's kind of a disadvantage. But again, I wasn't anticipating our O-line, our D-line, our running game, our quarterback, and our secondary all to be terrible today. But, that's where we're at. And again, we're going to remember this, and obviously this will hopefully lead to some payback, down the road. And maybe we'll play Ohio State in the Natty next year or the year after or in the playoff, and then we'll get revenge. But, as long as Dan Lanning is there, I feel confident that one day, not this year, but one day we will win it all. But not a great way to start out 2025 for anybody in Oregon, but I'm still going to rock my gear, after the game is over. I'm still going to, I'm not going to pout and cry and whine and bitch and moan, make excuses. I'm still going to rock the gear, take my dog on a walk and watch the rest of the college football playoff and enjoy it. DG. Team Ferg with the catch. First down, Ducks. And maybe this was all the plan, again, 13-0, winning the Big Ten, and then getting fucking punked like this, and that way it'll, teach them discipline and understanding that, this is not going to be easy. Like, look what happened to Oregon last year. You could still go 13-0, only undefeated team, winning the conference the first year, but that doesn't mean that you're going to win it all, especially when you have 6 teams that could do it, right? Oregon, right? Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame. Those were the 6 that could win, and then the other 6 had no chance. And it just so happens that we had to play Ohio State in the first round. So, the better team won. Chief with a 9-9. $1 holla. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. Little cactus jack. Bang, bang. DG. Big hit. But it shows you, if you don't have a running back, you don't have an offensive line, you don't have a defensive line, you're done. Tuiamamara. He's from Washington as well, just right up north of me. I mean, really, at the end of the day, no excuses. They came in prepared. They came in with a better, game plan with Chip Kelly. They executed, and, they're the better team. And hopefully they win it all, and they represent the Big Ten. Because if we're not in it, then I got to try to root for Penn State or Ohio State to go all the way. Trayshawn. There we go. First down, Ducks. It looks like we'll be able to get a touchdown hopefully here before halftime, but 34-7. I don't know if I've ever heard of a team coming back from, 27 points or more, going into halftime, but Whittington there. Obviously, Jordan James in the locker room, not ideal. Would have been really great to have Bucky Irving still there. I mean, it's one thing to lose, but gosh, man, do we have to really learn the lesson this way? It's like, it's one thing to lose by 3. It's one thing to lose by, 6 or 7. And then, you got blown out by 10-14. Fine. But 34-0, it's like the sports gods are like being a little cruel. Like, is this really what we have to learn before we win a natty, that we have to get beat down like this? And maybe this is what we need to do. Maybe this is what we have to go through. No other team is going to get blown out like this, more than likely in the college football playoff. I mean, it'd be pretty shocking if we see any other game like this. But I guess that's what the sports gods have in line for the Oregon Ducks and myself. 3rd down and 1. Gabriel run for 5 yards. Down to the Buckeye 13. Now false, because we had the most top 25 wins out of any team, 3. So you obviously don't know anything about football. Don't make the fans here dumber if you don't even know your stats or your analytics. Get out of here. DG. There we go. Big hit. God, they're hitting out there, trying to decapitate our players. 1st and goal. Well, you're down 34-0, so if you take the 3, it's, there's the field goal. They have 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals, based on 28, 31, 34, that type of scheme. So, I mean, I know 3 isn't sexy, but 4 touchdowns and a field goal. 7, 14, 17, 24, 31. I mean, it'd be great if we could get a touchdown, but I mean, it's like, have we even shown that we can even get a fucking 1st down? Just take the 3 points. Again, if we get the touchdown and when we score at the, right after halftime and make it 34-14, that would be great. But, if it's me, I take 3, but I'm not coaching. Because honestly, the way that the game has gone, what are actually the chances of Oregon getting a touchdown on this play? Like, honestly, what, 5%? 1%? It's not good. So just take the 3 points. You're already going to lose this game. It's already ugly. It's already terrible. Oregon fans, this is not the way that we wanted to start our 2025. But take the point. I mean, I'd rather have a 3 than go for it and get nothing. I mean, obviously, anyone that goes for it thinks, oh, we're going to get it. But how often does it really happen? It's like when people go for 2-point conversions. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. But it also depends on how you've looked that day. And if you've been barely able to get a 1st down, and I get it. You get this 34-7. You get the ball back, you score 34-14 or something of that nature. But, I mean, what are the chances of us scoring here and scoring right after halftime is over? All right, we're going for it. I highly doubt we'll get it, but I hope we do. Shotgun set. DG. Nobody's open. Trayshawn Holden. Touchdown, Ducks. Thank God. There we go. All right. Start of the comeback, baby. We got a comeback. Oh, shit. So now we're going to try to go, 34-8, and then try to score and go 34-16. So we're going to try to, tunk away. So I assume that if we score, we're going to go for 2 every single time. So if you end up getting 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions, right? You score here, you score right after halftime, you score again, then it essentially would be 34-24, and we would actually have a chance. But, I mean, what are the chances of that happening? Not very good, but we can pray. as Duck fans and college football fans. And that's how that you would get back in the game. 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions. EG? There we go. I would have taken the 34-3, but again, you're already getting your ass kicked. And thank God they executed. 34-6, 34-8, 34-16, 34-24, and then you're only down by 10 at that point, and then you have a ball game. But we would have to score very quickly, obviously when we get the football in the second half. Oh. But that's the mentality for Dan Lanning moving forward. Scoring touchdowns, going for 2, and then praying like all hell that we can actually get there. Let's go. I mean, probably one of the worst first halves I've ever seen in my entire life. But again, one of the best first halves I've seen from an opponent. And hopefully we can find our way to chunk away and chip away at this lead. I mean, I still don't feel good about our chances of coming back and winning, but you never know. You get a quick touchdown after halftime, and it's 34-16, then 34-24. You get 2 more touchdowns, 2 more 2-point conversions. You're down by 10. And if you're down by 10 at the start of the fourth quarter, you have a chance, But again, that's also assuming that Ohio State doesn't score anymore, and that's not realistic. They're probably going to score some more. So, good job, Dan. We got 102 in the building. Let's go. Let's keep that number going. That's why the likes are so big. I tell you guys, like, sub, donate, comment, share. We're at 109. Hopefully that number will go up to 200, 300, 500, 1,000. Let's go. Obviously, we had good results in this game. Not so much in this one. It's not over yet. Oh, man. Fuck. For some people, they've been fans of the Ducks just for a couple years. So, they're spoiled with all of the victories. But, for myself and a lot of OGs that have been fans since like the 80s or the 90s, winning only a couple games a year to, seeing the, Joey Harrington era, the Chip Kelly era, and now in the Dan Lanning era. But again, you got to give credit where credit is due. The Buckeyes and Chip Kelly and Ryan Day had a magnificent game plan. The running game was great. The passing game was great. But really, essentially, what's making the difference is the O-line and the D-line have dominated for the Buckeyes. And obviously, our O-line and D-line have been terrible. Our secondary is terrible. Jordan James got hurt. So nothing has really been going our way. Gabriel hasn't played well. The running game hasn't played well. Defense has been terrible. But again, the Big Ten is king. And hopefully we end up getting a champion out of the Big Ten between Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State, unless you're an SEC fan, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah, when we ended up having that Wisconsin game versus Oregon, we had over 700. And then we hit like 16,000, on the stream. So I was really hoping that Oregon would continue this run, so that way that we would have more opportunities to, gain views and subs and possible donos and shares. But when you dig yourself into a hole, I mean, I guess it could be worse, right? It could be 34-0. So, I mean, you have to at least keep optimistic and keep hopeful. But down by 26 points, not ideal. Because when the bots come in, they get kicked out, so it's not them. .462. Hopefully we can keep it going. Over some of the stats. Obviously not a whole lot for Oregon to be able to go over. 596. Let's keep climbing. All right. So here in the first half, Will Howard, obviously, to Jeremiah Smith for 45 yards and a tutty that made it 7-0. Will Howard to Egbuka, 42 yards, 14-0. Then you had Jaden Fleming with a field goal, 17-0. Will Howard with the Jeremiah Smith again, 43 yards, 24-0. Trayvon Henderson down the sideline, 66 yards, 31-0. Then you had Fleming for another field goal, 34-0. And then finally, at the very end of the half, the sports gods decided that they would let the Ducks play. Dylan Gabriel to Trayshawn Holden for 5 yards with a tutty and a 2-point conversion, 34-8. All right, let's go over the actual box score here real quick. All right, so Will Howard, 11 for 18, 269 yards, 3 tutties, no picks. Trayvon Henderson, 2 carries, 70 yards, 1 tutty. And then Quinshon Judkins, 9 carries, 43 yards. They have 121 yards on the ground to Oregon's 13. That's sad. Buckeyes, Jeremiah Smith, the best wide receiver in the game. We got over 1,000 people in the room. 1,009. Let's keep it going, especially with all those likes that we had. 5 receptions, 161 yards, and 2 tutties. Emeka Egbuka from Washington, 4 receptions, 68 yards, and a tutty. They have 11 receptions, 269 yards, and 3 touchdowns through the air. And Fleming, obviously, the field goal kicker, 2 for 2, 4 for 4 with extra points, and that's how you have 34. Now let's go to the Ducks, and obviously Dan Lanning and company. All right, Dylan Gabriel, 15 for 23, 126 yards, 1 TD, and no picks. So it's not like he has any pick sixes. Jordan Dames ended up getting injured in the game. 7 carries, 14 yards, no tutties. Noah Whittington, 3 carries, 1 yard. Dylan Gabriel, 2 carries, -1. Tez Johnson, 1 carry, -1. 13 carries for 13 yards. Dan Lanning, that is not going to be good enough to get the job done. 13 carries, 13 yards, 15 for 23, 126 yards, 1 touchdown and no picks. And then for receiving, 4 receptions, 67 yards, and a tutty for Trayshawn Holden. Tez, our best receiver, 4 receptions, 20 yards, and then we only have 15 receptions for 126 total. And that's pretty much been the story of the day. 1,378. Let's go. Trying to break some records. I just wish that we were up 34-8 right now rather than being down 34-8, but it is what it is. I pretty much, do the games, based off the time schedule and the good matchups, so, I have to, if like comparing to doing a game at like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., I'm rather going to do like a late game at like maybe 5 p.m. I'm usually going to go that route, but I'm going to try to sprinkle in as much college football, even if the Ducks lose, which it looks like they will. But I'm going to, do Notre Dame and Georgia tomorrow. And then we're going to continue, down that trend. Maybe another bowl game on Friday, Saturday. Obviously, who is it? Is it Bengals Steelers? Is that on Saturday? Let me peek ahead real quick. But let's take a quick peek. So on Saturday, Bengals and Steelers, I'll do that at 5. And then on Sunday, obviously, we'll be doing one of the biggest matchups of the year, which is going to be the Vikings at 14-2 versus the Lions at 14-2. So, this was a good one. Big Ten championship. Just wish this could have played out a little bit better, but we don't got anybody to blame but ourselves, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll be able to get Dylan Gabriel a little bit more time. And again, when he has time, we can make plays like this happen. But again, if you have no offensive line, this will never happen, and we just have to dink and doink our way, and losing our best running back doesn't help us at all. And I know Dan is going to give a motivated speech here at halftime, and obviously it's must. We have to score and get a 2-point conversion. And if we can score off the first drive and make it 34-16, then we're going to have ourselves a game. And then especially if we can get another stop and make it 34-24, then people are going to think, man, Oregon might have a chance. But again, that is wishful thinking. But, we'll see where it goes. But, you got to respect Ryan Day and Chip Kelly with the game plan that they had today, but also not just the game plan, but I honestly think the main difference, between them and us, they played against Tennessee while we rested. And if you watch the NFL playoffs, it usually doesn't matter as much. But in the MLB playoffs, the teams that end up having the 1 seed that sit, and they end up having like a week off, they don't usually win. a lot of the upsets happen because you get teams that are regularly playing in a normal routine compared to a team that's resting, and they're going to be a little raw. They're going to be, a little rusty. Even if they ended up going 13-0 and winning the Big Ten championship, if you end up having a week or 2 weeks off, it could really, hurt your team. And I think that's really the big difference today. Is that we had time off. If we would have played like Ohio State played Tennessee, I guarantee that we wouldn't be down 34-8 right now. We might still be down, but we wouldn't be down by this much. I don't have to push, the Buccaneers narrative, depending on, the games that are going, like if they end up playing, at a time window that is appropriate where we can do it, yeah, I'll do it. But, I don't ever really need to push that, narrative or whatever. We're always going to do Ducks. We're always going to do Mariners. I'll do a bunch of the NFL teams. And then, of course, if the time is right, yeah, of course I would want to do a Buck game, but we have to beat the Saints, obviously first, and then we'll see where it goes. So, but let me look to see what we got as far as the schedule. All right, so tomorrow is going to be Notre Dame and Georgia after that, massacre where those 10 people died and all those people got injured. So that's why they shut it down for today. So we're going to end up doing that tomorrow. And that's going to be at 1 o'clock Pacific. So it's going to be a little bit early. And then on Friday, Minnesota and Virginia Tech are on. So we may end up doing that. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, it's at 4:30 Pacific. It's not like the greatest bowl game matchup, but something to do. And then obviously Saturday we'll do the Steelers and the Bengals. The Bengals trying to get into the playoffs, and then Vikings and Lions on Sunday. And then once it goes to Monday, then we'll figure out what we end up doing, where we do college hoops, NBA, NHL, maybe Monday Night Raw. We could do something like that. Monday Night Raw stream. Obviously going to Netflix and whatnot. So I'm a big wrestling fan as well. So we could always do something like that. So there's no more Thursday night football. So again, we're just having to come up with different opportunities to see what we can do. 34-8 Buckeyes. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. Let's go, baby. Sometimes it takes a while for the people to come through, rather than the numbers. But 1,200 likes, right? 1,200 people plus in the room. We're going to be able to hit a monster number on this stream. This one has potential to be our biggest stream of the channel ever. Just wish that we weren't down by fucking 26. But that's what happens, When Oregon has a chance to lose or they're going to lose, people will come in. It's never when Oregon is up 34-8. It's always going to be like, oh, we almost lost to Boise State. Let's have, almost 10,000 people. Oh, you almost lost to Wisconsin, 15,000 people. And then, we'll see where we're at on, this one when it's all said and done. But hopefully it'll continue to grow. But I think one thing is for sure, Monday Night Raw. I mean, especially if we don't have anything to do on Monday, because there's not going to be anything to do. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And, if we can end up doing something like a Monday Night Raw live stream, if possible, we'll see, if it will be available for me to do. Also, too, with, streaming links, a couple of them, no longer being active, and you have to kind of look in other directions to see what else is available. So, and some of those links will have wrestling and some will not. So, 34-8 Buckeyes. And you got to remember also, in the NFL, right, you can have multiple quarters that are bad, multiple games that are bad, and you could still go 10-7 and then win the whole thing. So you could end up losing, a good chunk of games and still being a champion at 10-7, 11-6, 12-5. But in college football, it's like you lose a game or two, or you have a bad half like this, your dreams are over. So there's a lot more on the line in college football than there is in the NFL. The NFL will give you time, to kind of fuck up and then get, some payback. But, in college football, sometimes it's not as, not as forgiving. Cool kid in the building. What's good? You don't say. We're struggling? I didn't notice. I still rep, though. Ducks are still my team no matter what. All the Ducks and all the friends and the family, and they're like, man, this is brutal. But again, you have to try to be as positive as possible. It could have been 34-0. It's not. It could have been 34-3. It's not. So we had the best case scenario. Could have been 34-6, right? Could have been 34-7, but it's 34-8. So, with everything considered, if we can score and get the 2-point conversion right out of the gates and make it 34-16, and then hopefully hold them to 3 or nothing, and then we do it again some point in the third quarter, and we can make it 37-24 or 34-24. Yeah, it's asking a lot, but it is something that could happen, and hopefully it does. I would love for it to be 34-24, and then we end up, getting a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, maybe some kind of miracle pick six or 3-and-out stop, and we score again, gain Uncle Mo and that momentum. And then even if that happens and it's 34-24, still no guarantee that we can come back and, even make it reasonable. But at least it would make the game more exciting for the fans. And it would give us a chance to have hope that maybe some miracle could happen. But I don't know if I've seen a team come back from 26 before. Oh, man. Congratulations to Texas winning in double overtime. 39-31 over Arizona State. And then obviously we have Notre Dame and Georgia tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, and that'll be the stream that we do tomorrow. $17 more subs to get to 20,700. Let's get there, baby. Yeah. Oh, fuck, man. Definitely this scenario, I did not see this coming, but that's what life is about, right? When you have bad things happen to you, how do you react? Do you act, with immaturity? Do you not take accountability? Sometimes, you're going to win at life. But also, too, when you lose in life, it's a life lesson to be able to get better and then hopefully to be able to get payback and revenge down the road, we shot ourselves in the foot, early on. And again, O-line, D-line, secondary, running game, quarterback play. We have been terrible on all phases of that game. So $5 holla. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. But again, like I said, if we end up dropping this game and we don't get a touchdown and 2-point conversion and another touchdown and 2-point conversion to make it 34-24, and if it just keeps getting out of hand, and hopefully we'll get into the 20s, before the game ends, so it's at least somewhat respectable after being down 34-0. But I will be rooting for the Big Ten to win it all. I want to represent the conference, and that's kind of a weird thing for me to say since I've been a part of the Pac-8, the Pac-10, and the Pac-12. But I definitely would want Ohio State or Penn State, or Oregon to win it all compared to, Georgia or Texas. I want the Big Ten to be king, and we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But miracle comebacks have happened before, and if Oregon does come back, it'll be probably the biggest comeback in college football history. That would be an amazing thing, if it did happen. But a lot of things would have to happen for Oregon to come back and win this. You'd have to have like the best second half. You would pretty much have to have an identical first half of Ohio State for Oregon in the second half. And then you'd have to go to overtime and pray that, you end up getting the kick and then you end up winning. And then you have to pray that you have to hold Ohio State to, 10 points or less in the second half? So we'll see. But again, you got to lose before you win. You got to crawl before you walk. And as long as we have Dan Lanning, I'm confident, that we'll be able to get past this point. Us playing Ohio State in this first round was, obviously just for ratings, but that wasn't fair to a 1 seed, regardless if that's us this time or someone else the next time. This should have been a matchup for later, even towards the end. But, the Buckeyes are the real deal this week. When they played Michigan, they weren't, but when they played Tennessee, they beat up on them. And, I feel like having the week off has definitely hurt us tremendously. All right, take care. Appreciate you. But maybe this is what needs to happen, in this Dan Lanning regime, for us to actually win it all one day. We have to remember these tough moments, and getting our ass kicked and realizing that even if you go 13-0 and you're the only undefeated team in college football and you win the Big Ten in your very first year, it still may not be good enough if you're looking ahead and already, thinking that it's over and that you won. And I never was one of those fans that thought that we were already champions. I knew that it was going to be incredibly tough to beat Ohio State, Texas, and then Penn State, Georgia, or Notre Dame. It wasn't. It was going to be probably the hardest path I've ever seen for a team to win it all, even with us being 13-0. But, you have to give respect where respect needs to be given. And the Buckeyes, they played great today. You give them kudos, give them credit. They played fantastic in that first half. And one thing is for sure that I'm proud of is that whether my teams win or my teams lose, I handle it with grace, and a lot of people that are streamers don't. They're fake, they over exaggerate, do a bunch of bullshit, to try to get views and ratings and, break shit and act a fool. I'm going to make sure that, I handle things with class. Not going to rub it in and talk shit if we win, and obviously congratulate greatness on the other side if it needs to be done, and I think a lot of sports fans in the room could learn, from me and a few others. Of course, everyone loves to be able to get emotional, about their teams and their players, but there's a right way to go about it and a wrong way. And unfortunately, we have too many people out there that do it the wrong way. So 34-8, not great, but there's still hope. The game's not over yet. I don't know. Let me check. Normally, if we do, someone will mention it to me if they have done that. But no, we don't got anything on the Cash App yet, but hopefully we will before the stream ends. Like, sub, donate, comment, share, help your boy out. Oh, 1,546, huh? Keep the views and the subs and the goals continuing in the right direction. Start of the third quarter. All right, come on, Ducks. Oh, no Jordan James. Awesome. No Evan Stewart. Awesome. Man up. Come on, Oregon. I mean, everything is against us. I've never seen so many things going against us in a game before, but I guess this is where we're at. Shotgun set. And we definitely could be using Jackson Powers Johnson at this point. Offensive line needs to be better. Whittington for no gain. Second down and 10 at the Oregon 25. Come on, baby. If this is the last half of Oregon football that I'm going to get until next season, let's make it the best half as we possibly can. Let's play with some fucking pride, even with the injuries and everything that's gone wrong today. And let's fight to the very end. Gabriel, Jesus Christ. 12 noon, you know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Jack Sawyer. Hamilton with the sack lunch. But again, offensive line, if you can't do your job, then that's what happens. What was that, 65? Terrible. Jesus Christ. Like the worst time possible to have a crappy O-line and D-line play. There we go. Gabriel to Justice Lowe for 21 yards. He's going to have to step up for Evan Stewart. 4th down and 1 on the Oregon 34. I mean, Gabriel's got no time to be able to go through the progressions. What a catch. Gabriel for 1 yard. First down, Ducks. Thank God. The worst thing that could possibly happen is if we had to end up punting this early. But Justice Lowe showing you that, hey, I can toe drag swag like Evan Stewart and Tez Johnson, baby. But I can't believe we don't have Evan or Jordan James. That's really tough. Because obviously the defense normally is better than the offense. And, the last thing that we need is more guys to get hurt. But let's have some positivity and let's see where it goes. Good. Put your head down and get that first down. There we go. Dylan Gabriel pass complete to Terrence Ferguson for 17 yards. First down, Ducks. We're already looking a billion times better on this drive, than we did in the first half. So obviously the yelling by Lanning and the coaching staff has worked. Even with the injuries to Evan Stewart and Jordan James not coming into the game for the rest of the second half. Gabriel. Let's go, T-Ferg. Let's go. Let's go. Gabriel to Noah Whittington for 5 yards. Second down and 5. Here we go. We're moving the chains, baby. We're moving him. I mean, I wish we could have done this more in the first half, but the defense will definitely let us down. Let's go. Whittington run for no gain to the Buckeye 43. 3rd down and 5. Keep moving the chains, baby. Come on now. I mean, it can't get any worse than it already did in that first half. Come on, baby. We need this at some point. Let's go, Dan. Just got to believe. Absolutely need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion on this drive. And Whittington, even being a smaller back than Jordan James, running it right up the gut, the strong suit for the Buckeyes, not smart. There we go. Dylan Gabriel to Trayshawn Holden, 15 yards. First down, Ducks. Move the chains. We're going to have Justice Lowe and Trayshawn Holden have to be the fucking heroes, as well as Terrence Ferguson. Let's go. Maybe me talking about the touchdowns and the 2-point conversions is starting to set in. I mean, the sports gods recognize that we don't deserve to be smacked like this. Let's fight back. Here we go. You get it to 34-16 and then 34-24, then we have a game, right? Let's go, baby. Dylan Gabriel to T. Ferg, 25 yards. We're about to score. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, baby. We got to give Ohio State some of their medicine that they gave us in the first half, baby. Good protection up front, finally, for like the first time in ages. Let's go. A ball run for 1 yard to the OSU 2, 2nd and goal. Come on, baby. Can you imagine if Oregon comes back to win this game in like overtime? It'll be like literally the biggest comeback in college football history. Come on, baby. Let's go, Ducks. Come on, baby. Come on, Dan. Impose your will. Let's go. We're better than this. Second and goal on the OSU 2. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, baby. Uncle Mo. We need it. Play calling wasn't very good, since the offensive line weren't really doing their job. Timeout, Oregon. We got to make sure we call the correct play here. It's either got to be pounding the rock, or maybe going to like Ferg, as the third option. Because they probably would assume it's going to go to, Taz or Trayshawn Holden or going to, Justice. So maybe going to the third or fourth option. I don't necessarily want to throw the football when we're down at the 2-yard line. I feel that we're good enough. Hell, you could even put your head down as Dylan Gabriel with a tush push and get in that way. So, we can go to Ferg. You can go to one of the receivers. But again, that has a chance to be picked off or, something bad could happen with like a tip. But again, when you're at the 2, pound the rock. But again, it's like, I don't know if I would want to pound the rock right up the gut with Whittington. He's a little bit of a smaller back. I think maybe even going Dylan Gabriel and just doing a tush push with him, we could get in. We got to be able to open up the playbook, but the only way that, Stein is going to be able to open up the playbook is if the offensive line plays better, and they played like shit in that first half. But it looks pretty good so far that we're about to score. I mean, it's one thing if we would have gotten dominated in like the first quarter, and then we were able to kind of get into our offense in the second quarter, and then maybe the score is already, 34-16, and then we're, closer into the game. It's already kind of, a blowout, but, a couple plays here, a couple plays there, then you're back in business. But, you got to give the Buckeyes credit. But hopefully Oregon will have the correct play call here. Hand the ball off. QB sneak with Gabriel. And then if you're going to pass the ball, I would probably go to Ferg because I don't think anyone would be guarding him. They're going to be looking at Lowe. They're going to be looking at Trayshawn Holden. And anytime you throw the ball, when you're within the 10-yard line and closer, especially when you're at the 2, you don't want to have a tip go up and then all of a sudden it gets picked off for a pick 6 or a big gain. So, I think that even though Jordan James is out and our other running backs aren't as good, you have to, instill some belief in those players too. I don't know. I feel like the most confident play would be like a QB sneak and then push from behind. But we'll see what they do. Yeah, we're on the 2-yard line, 2nd and goal. So we had a really good drive there. And like I said, we got the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. We need to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion here. Then we need to get a stop and then get another touchdown and 2-point conversion before the 3rd quarter ends. And then if we can do that and be down by 10 going into the 4th, we're going to have a chance. But again, that's going to be really tough to do, to be able to have all those things happen and to prevent Ohio State from scoring and maybe even getting a turnover off of them. But it feels like the turnover is going to happen, for the Duck defense to be able to get one on Howard at some point. Come on, Gabriel. Use your legs, baby. RPO, use your legs. You can get in. Pound the rock. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. A little undersized, no problem. Here we go. Come back and works. Noah Whittington, 2-yard rushing touchdown. Let's go. 2-point conversion. We're showing some life. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Wow, they go for the extra point. Interesting. Extra point is up and good, 34-15. I guess you don't want to chase points on every single play, but obviously being down 34-16 would be better than 34-15, but again, how many times are you going to chase points? Let's go Ducks. And there'll be other times if we can get it closer to go for 2, right? So now we're down by, 19? So 19, so they did the math. So if we're down by 19, so that's why they didn't go for 2, right? We're down by 19, right? 2-point conversion and a touchdown, 8. 2-point conversion and a touchdown, 16. 3 points, field goal, 19. So there you go. So that's the reasoning why they decided to go for the extra point right there, to be down by 19. Touchdown, 2-point, touchdown, 2-point, field goal. And then that means that we have to try to hold Ohio State to, no scores the rest of the way, or a good chunk of the way, maybe only giving up 3 the rest of the way. I don't know what the likelihood of the Buckeyes going 3 or less the rest of the way is, but you never know. If Oregon can get a pick 6, a fumble, a 3 and out, a punch out, and then we score very quickly, anything could happen because momentum is in the Ducks' favor now. So obviously a big defensive play seems like it's in the works for Oregon. It's going to happen either this quarter or next quarter. It might have to, you might have to wait till the 4th, but that big interception, that big fumble, it feels like it's going to happen, but, do we score off the play? I don't know. We might need to if we're going to come back. But that's why they went for the kick, because they're down by 19, right? 8-3. Touchdown, 2-point. Touchdown, 2-point, field goal. Makes sense. 34-15. I feel a hell of a lot better now. And shout out to Noah Whittington to get in the end zone, baby. Let's go. We're at 40, 60 to go. I mean, that's duck football. But, gosh, it took so long for us to be able to get into our rhythm. Like the last minute of the second quarter and then, finishing it off with that good speech, by Lanning and company to get it done here in the first possession, after halftime. Still got a long ways to go, though. But we need the defense to step up. I mean, could you imagine if we ended up getting a fumble for a touchdown or a pick six on this drive? That would be electric, right? But again, that would be a miracle. Even if we ended up getting like a 3 and out, that would help out a lot. We need a punch out. We need a sack lunge. We need an interception. We need a fumble. We just need the fucking defense to play like they did all year, except what we saw in the first half. That was the worst performance I've ever seen the Ducks play this season in that first half. And let's put that behind us, and let's make some fucking plays. Let's go. Got to get to the quarterback. Strip it out. 3-yard gain. 2nd down and 7 on the Buckeye 28. Pass complete to Emeka Egbuka for 4. Good defense there by Oregon. Where's that been all day? There you go, Jabbar. Don't be talking shit. We're already down by 19 points. Be confident in your abilities, but you don't need to rub it in, okay? The last thing that we need is for you to get a fucking penalty and to ruin that. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Ooh, 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 ooh. Here we go. Here we go. Pass incomplete. 4th and 3. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. You got to talk it into existence. When things are going bad, it's all how you react to it, right? We all have bad things that happen to us in our life, right? How do you react? That's the thing that you have a difference on doing, right? Do you react in a positive way or are you a negative, right? And if you're negative, things will continue to get negative. You address the problem. You understand that things were not good, but you have faith, all right? And you have faith that you can make a comeback, okay? Even when you're down 34-0. Let's go. Great stop. I mean, if there was ever a time that we needed a fucking stop after getting a score after halftime, right now. Let's go. And we get a score here, right? Then it'll be 34-22. Let's go. Let's go. I'm proud of the Ducks. You got to think, like, we weren't able to get a stop all game in the first half, and then to be able to score, get the, extra point after getting the touchdown and the 2-point conversion before half to stop the embarrassment and the bleeding. And then now you get a 3 and out after a score, and we could possibly get another one. The momentum is in the Ducks' favor. I'm not saying that we're going to come back and we're going to win, but it's a possibility, and if we do, it's going to be the biggest college football comeback ever. Okay, and if that were to happen, I couldn't think of a team that would be more rewarding than Oregon. I just wish that they didn't dig themselves in such a fucking hole. I mean, could you imagine if it was like 28-0, 24-0? You know, things would be looking much better than 34-0. You know, but again, we dug ourselves in the hole. We have to blame ourselves, hold ourselves accountable, and also give credit to Ohio State. But that was the first half. Now it's the second half. It's our turn. It's our time. And hopefully we can fight like hell, and then we'll see what happens at the very end. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. Let's go. 34-15. It's ugly. It's nasty, right? It's embarrassing, but at least now we're chipping away. And then once you get it to 34-22, we're going to have a chance, especially if we can feed off that momentum. Let's go. Time of possession is going to be very key. You know, making sure that we're effective with the football. Not fucking up. We had plenty of fuck ups in the first half. We have to be very solid. We have to play just like the Buckeyes did in the first half. And if we do, we can come back and win this game in overtime. Let's go. Sports is crazy, you know. No matter how bad or good things look, you can never get comfortable. You know, and the moment you get comfortable, that's when things start going kind of haywire, right? Because obviously it started to look like the game was going to be 68-0, right? And the Oregon wasn't even going to be able to score. But we're too good, you know, of a team, you know, to play like we did in the first half, where just everything was a meltdown, you know. And again, if we didn't have Dan Lanning, the best coach in college football, to make those adjustments, we would still be down 34-0. We wouldn't have scored at the end of the half, and we definitely wouldn't have scored, first possession in the second half, and we definitely wouldn't have gotten a fucking 3 and out. But at least we have a chance. And one thing is for sure, you know, no matter what happens at the end of the game, it's not going to be as embarrassing as it was when we were down 34-0. You know, it's like almost the sports gods had to like test us. Like, how are you going to react? Oh, are you going to be a child? Are you going to whine and bitch and moan and complain and cry? You know, or are you going to handle it with grace? You know, and we're going to handle it with grace. We're going to handle it the best way that we can, and hopefully the sports gods recognize that. I think they did, and hopefully we can come back, and this will be the biggest comeback in college football history. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, shit. Good thing Ferg kind of tipped that there at the end. Incomplete. Uh-oh. 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Jack Sawyer, loss of 7. Big sack lunch. 3rd down and 17 on the Oregon 18. Offensive line hasn't been good today. Yeah, that sack was on DG. Obviously, 65 is trash on Oregon's line, and you know you definitely need to get another person to help him out, like a running back to clip him. The running back needs to be on the other side. And 65 is the shittiest lineman that we have, based on today's performance. But again, that one was on DG. As soon as you made that move, you got to be able to feel that presence, on your blind side and get rid of the football. And then another sack lunch at 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Back-to-back sack lunches, unacceptable for Oregon after what we did, but you got to give credit. That's why the Buckeyes are the Buckeyes, and now we're going to have to punt. Fuck. Shows you how important offensive line truly is to a football team. Great effort at the end of the first half. Great effort with the first possession in the second. You get a 3 and out. And how the fuck are you going to give up back-to-back sacks? Get 65 out of there. Fuck. And obviously that was a late rush at the end by the linebacker. And now we're going to have to punt. Ducks with the punt. God, we need turnovers like a motherfucker. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us on the dono train as well. All right, sports gods, I know that every possession, isn't going to, come out the way that, every single fan wants. I know it's, going to be tough, but we got to find a way. Time is running out. I mean, again, if we have any chance of making this game close, even if we lose or if we do have the epic comeback, the defense has to play better. The O-line has to play better. Come on, baby. 3 and out, or even just like 1 first down and a 3 and out, but if we can get a punch out, a sack lunch, a pick six, a fumble for a touchdown, I mean, that's something that we're going to need to kind of get the juices flowing, and hopefully we can. (34-15) Buckeyes. Howard pass complete to Henderson for 1 yard. 2nd down and 9 on the OSU 45. Come on, Ducks. Nice timed blitz there by the Ducks. Pass complete to Trayvon Henderson for 1 yard. 3rd down and 8. Here we go. Come on, Ducks. Play with some pride. Good collapsing defense there by Oregon. Nice job by Nico Reed. Come on, baby. Howard pass complete to Jeremiah Smith, 10 yards. 1st down, Buckeyes. Fuck. Good route runner, good hands, good ball placement. Move the chains. Fucking A again. Howard pass complete to Jeremiah Smith, 16 yards. 1st down, Buckeyes. Fuck. Come on, Ducks. But again, Jeremiah Smith can do this to anybody. It doesn't matter what, team he goes against. He's that good. Snap is low. Oregon not fast enough to get there. Secondary, where are you? Wake up. It's like, why don't we have Jabbar Muhammad, shadowing Jeremiah Smith? Like, wouldn't that be the smart thing to do? Unless he's only limited on playing one side of the field, and that's all you can do. But again, if Muhammad is our best corner, why aren't we having him line up and following Jeremiah Smith every single play? Best player versus best player on our secondary. Hello? I mean, how many times do we got to get burnt by someone else before they make the move? I mean, we've already seen that the other guys can't hang with him. We've already seen 3/4 of that. Judkins around the corner. And then Jabbar Muhammad with a face mask, you fucking dummy. Golly. Flag on the play. Come on, Jabbar. What the fuck are you doing? Now already first and fucking goal. Now it's just going to end up being too little, too late for the Ducks, but at least we're not at 34-0. But defense wins games, defense wins championships, and we got exposed today. Halfback toss. Touchdown, Buckeyes. Terrible effort. You stink, Jabbar Muhammad. What was that? Nice touchdown by Trayvon Henderson. Extra point is up and good. 41-15 Buckeyes. All right, Ducks, our turn. It shows you how important things are in football. It's a team game. If you end up having a couple units that end up not playing well, it can affect the outcome completely. O-line doesn't play well, you're fucked. D-line doesn't play well, you're fucked. Right? Secondary plays like shit, you're fucked. And that's just the harsh reality, And it's not like we have bad players. We have a couple guys hurt, but most of them are on, offense. But this effort right here was piss poor. But you got to give credit to the Buckeyes offensive line up front. And whatever the hell this tackle attempt by Muhammad was, that was a 0. On a scale of like 0 to 10 on effort, that was a 0. What was that? Man, oh man. You can always tell people that are immature and petty. Like, bro, you couldn't even beat fucking Louisville. Fuck out of here with that. (41-15) Buckeyes. Obviously, even if we end up scoring, there's just not enough time. We can still, maybe get it as close as maybe 10-14 before the game is over. If everything goes correct and they don't score really that much anymore, but we're not going to be able to score enough to win this game, unfortunately. We couldn't have given up that touchdown there. That had to be 3 or 0. Sadiq with the catch. But, I'm not surprised by the pettiness, because, again, some people are mature and some people obviously are not. Chief with a $5. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to the therapy fund. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Let's get to a hundo. Your boy's going to need it. Gabriel batted down. 45, 55 to go to hit the goal. And another sack lunch. Jesus Christ. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for another sack lunch. You got to get rid of the football a lot fucking quicker. Offensive line. This is the worst performance I've seen this line play all year. But also Dylan Gabriel looking like goddamn Caleb Williams on the Bears. Get rid of the fucking football. You cannot hang on to it like you're playing, some scrub team. And obviously, Whittington can't fucking chip anybody. Jesus Christ. Ducks with the punt. I mean, it's better than losing 41-0, but, at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. But, I don't know. Hopefully, we can get to at least, high 20s or 30 before the game ends, if possible. I don't know if there's enough time, though. Especially when the defense can't stop a fucking nosebleed. Offensive line stinks. Defense stinks. Secondary stinks. And like I said, sometimes it's difficult to beat a team 2 times or 3 times in a season. We only lost by 1, or we beat them by 1. They lost by 1 to us early. They lost to Michigan, but they fought back and got shit together against Tennessee. And, it shows you the Big Ten is for real. First down and 10. 43 seconds left. It'll be just a little too late for the Ducks. Disappointing way to end the season. But we got no one to blame, and we have to give the praises to the other side. Ohio State, could win it all. Or, they could play Texas and get fucking smashed. I mean, you don't really know what's going to happen. Every game moving forward with this brand new college football playoff, we don't really know what to expect. Holding on the offense. But again, if you can't win the line of scrimmage, this is what happens. If you look at 3 units that made us lose today, O-line, D-line, secondary, it's very clear. It doesn't take an expert to see that. And you might be able to get away with one of those positional groups failing, but not all 3. First down at 16. And again, when you're ahead and you're a good team, what do? You run the ball and bleed the clock, and that's what they're going to do here in the fourth quarter. End of the third, 41-15, Buckeyes. And it also shows you, too, for a guy that looked, at times below average or mid, that if you get enough time with amazing weapons, some of the best skill position players that are playing in college football this year, that, sometimes he may look bad, he may look below average or mid, but there's going to be games where he looks amazing. And especially if you got the best receiver in college football, besides maybe a Travis Hunter, playing, and he can make, grabs like this, it might be lights out and night, for the opponent. And unfortunately, that's us. All right, no worries, bro. I'll be live at 1 o'clock Pacific for Georgia and Notre Dame. But again, we can use this, loss as motivation. We're going to have to, we're going to have to use it as motivation, just like when Ohio State lost to us by 1, and then when they lost to Michigan, you really are defined by your losses, not by your wins. And what do you do after you lose? That's really what separates the, good from the great and the great from the elites. How do you respond to adversity or bad shit happening to you? Are you just going to fucking roll over and cry and complain about it? Or are you going to try to get better? And as long as we have Dan Lanning, I know that we can win a natty with him. It's just not going to be this year. The Buckeyes were the better team. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You're a real one, Captain. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. Thank you so much. We're at 50 to go. Yeah, that's what I wanted too, man. I wanted Oregon, Ohio State, and then we barely beat them by like 3, 44-41. Play Texas, same thing. Hopefully we win like, 38-35. Then play Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia and have the same thing, 31-28. Like, I really thought that if Oregon were, to do it, we would probably only win by 3 points in every game, but it would be enough to advance. Like, I have that much respect for Ohio State, Texas, as well as Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia. I never thought it was going to be like, oh, Oregon is so much better. We're going to win by, 14 or more every game. No way in hell, like, even though we were undefeated and 13-0 and won the Big Ten our first year, other teams are very good, and now I think people are starting to realize that, any given day, anything can happen. It just stings, when you're the number one team, first year in the college football playoff, only undefeated team, winning the Big Ten the first year, and then to play like this, but it shows you time off. 12 noon, you know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. A little bit too little, too late. But, it shows you that, you're at a disadvantage if you have that week off, just like in Major League Baseball. Some teams are able to combat it when they have like a week off, but a lot of times those wild card teams and the teams that are playing early and they continue to play, they have the advantage because you're in a routine and in a rhythm. Rather than having a week or two off, your guys might get healthier, but you're out of rhythm. And we were rusty and we looked like it, especially in that first half. Take care, bro. Thank you for your support. But again, other Duck fans, they would just be haters, not wanting to give credit to the other team, and whatnot. But again, I'll say it again. I will be rooting for the Buckeyes to win it all. I don't know if they can beat Texas. That'll be a really tough game. That could end up being a natty in itself. And hopefully it'll be a close game, not like this. And we'll see what happens. But I definitely will be rooting for Ohio State or Penn State. And obviously Ohio State probably has a better chance than Penn State. But, if Notre Dame beats Georgia, Penn State could beat them. And even if Georgia wins, Penn State could win that matchup. It's possible we could have an all Big Ten championship game where it's Penn State, Ohio State. It might not be everyone's first, dibs. Maybe most people would think Ohio State, Georgia or Texas, Georgia. Maybe people think it's just going to be, SEC, but I think there's a good probability, that you're going to get probably one SEC and one Big Ten, but you might get two Big Ten, two SEC, but, I'll be definitely rooting for Ohio State for the conference, for the Big Ten to be champions. So. But we also have to remember, right? Ohio State could go into the game against Texas, and the same thing could happen to them as happening to us, or vice versa. The Buckeyes could do the same thing they did to us to Texas, but also, next week, Texas could be up 41-15 on Ohio State, and I don't know if we would be really surprised, right? You have to start respecting the top six, right? Oregon, right? Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame. And, it just wasn't our year this year. And I got nothing bad to say. I'm always going to appreciate Chip Kelly. Just unfortunate that he had to do this to us. But it also helps when you have the best receiver in the land. And he's unstoppable and unguardable. But they got great running backs in Henderson and Judkins, Egmeka Egbuka. I mean, they got so many options at running back and wide receiver. If that offensive line plays well, what can you do? And then also people don't want to bring up, they ended up losing their center, and they had horrible guard play for a good chunk of the season where they were rotating people. So for Ohio State to bring it together with a couple backups, as well as losing their center for the year, they're not going to bring that up, but I'll bring it up, and I'm very impressed. They represented to the fullest. Well, the way that Genty got exposed, Scadaboo might be better than Genty in the NFL, depending on what team he goes to. But Jeremiah Smith looks like he could be special whenever he decides to go in. Double pass from Dante Moore to Dylan Gabriel. Back to Dylan Gabriel, incomplete. Yeah, I love Jeremiah Smith. I'm a big fan of college football, and I think even with Oregon losing here today, college football has been better than the NFL this year. And I think it will be every year moving forward, especially with this format. Hearts are going to be broken. Dreams are going to be crushed. But I know that at some point, if Lanning stays, we're going to win one. It just, how many are we going to win? I don't know. And we might make it to the Natty next year and lose. It may not be like, we might have to, really earn it and work for it. But one thing I hope for the future, for any of the other Duck players coming in, you realizing that, O-line, D-line, and secondary cannot play like this next time around. We need to get better players in the secondary and better players on the O-line and the D-line. It's always great to have running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks, but that doesn't mean shit if you don't have a good O-line, D-line, or secondary. Facts. Cole in the building. How are you, bro? DG, first down and 10, scrambling, gambling. Looking for someone to throw to, incomplete. Trayshawn Holden, the intended receiver. And now Dante Moore is in the game. Pass to Trayshawn Holden for 7 yards. Another sack lunch by the Buckeyes. Nice job, Ohio State. just we haven't seen the O-line and the D-line get exposed like this all year. Even when we played them the first time around, at Autzen, it shows you also the crowd is everything. Playing at Autzen was like the 12th man, right? And, Dylan Gabriel's awareness in this game is like zero. And it shows you how important it is to be able to have fans that will cheer you on, and that was the difference in the first game. We were able to win in the shoe, on the road with no Kayvon Thibodeau. We were able to win at home in one of the most glorious wins I've ever seen, one of the biggest wins at Autzen ever. But today was all Buckeyes all day. I mean, Dylan Gabriel hanging on to the football like Caleb Williams on the Bears. I mean, what do you expect to do? These guys are extremely fast. Act like it. You just can't run around there for 5 or 10 seconds and think you're going to be okay. Nice juke. First down, Ducks. Dylan Gabriel passing complete to Noah Whittington. Second down and 10 on the Buckeye 24. Jesus Christ, almost picked. But again, if you want to end up being a champion of college football, especially with the college football playoff, it's going to be harder than it was even before. Before it was, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. If you weren't one of those 4 teams, you were fucked unless you were Clemson or LSU with a, Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and, that type of team. And those don't come that often. Flip by Gabriel and a hurdle. There we go. Just imagine if JTT and Emeka Egbuka went to the Huskies. They're both just like they're both from Washington, not very far from me. Imagine if the Huskies were able to land those guys instead of Ohio State. How it would change that program. I'm telling you, Pacific Northwest, they brew a lot of talent. Gabriel run for 3 yards, first down and 7 on the OSU 9. Scatterboom, the only FBS, FCS, NFL player in this century and the last 100 years to have 100 rushing yards, 75 receiving yards, a passing touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. Scatterboom! Yeah, I think that Arizona State played better than anticipated. Could have, gotten the dub if the targeting call was, made. A couple missed field goals by Texas to keep Arizona State, close. But that one, we thought might have been a blowout like the Boise State game against Penn State. And I think a lot of us thought that this would, be decided by 3 points. It'd be very close either way. Same thing with Notre Dame and Georgia. But again, that's why this is exciting. Not necessarily this particular moment with the Ducks, but you just don't know what you're going to get. And unfortunately, they didn't show up today. Yeah, I mean, and I understand. I mean, like how hard it is to win. I just want to be able to have a Ducks natty and a Mariners pennant before I die, and it's hard for teams to be great. And it shows you even when you're 13-0, only undefeated team winning the Big Ten our first year, we're still not good enough to go all the way because there's so many other great teams that are still playing, especially in this college football playoff. Gabriel, touchdown, Ducks. There we go. Trayshawn Holden. And me and Marcos, as people that live in Oregon, he's a Beaver fan. I'm a Duck fan. We both like the Blazers. We'll watch, Mariners. He's a Hawk fan. I'm a Buck fan. We got some teams in common and others are a little different. But I think one thing that we both have seen is, a disappointment, from our teams, and we love our teams. I go to games. Marcos goes to games. And, sometimes things, work out and sometimes things don't, 2-point conversion is no good. 41-21 Buckeyes. I mean, again, it could be worse. We could be losing 41-0. Nice throw, nice catch. Like if we didn't give up so much in that first half, like if we only gave up like 20 rather than almost 40, maybe we could have made a little bit more. Like if the score right now was like 31-21, it's still probably not looking good because we can't stop them, but at least it makes us feel a little bit better. But we just, that first half was probably one of the worst first halves of football I've ever seen as being a fan of the Oregon Ducks. But, it's not like we played a bad team like Wisconsin and they did this to us. This is the team that might win it all. They're showing that, hey, if we can beat Oregon, we're going to match up to Texas. And if they get past Texas, Ohio State's going to win the whole thing. More than likely. If you can beat these two teams, Oregon and Texas, in back-to-back weeks, what makes you think that they can't beat Penn State, who they're already better than them, but Penn State is good, Notre Dame or Georgia? All right, Notre Dame is a little bit better than normal, but Georgia's a little worse than what they normally are. Buckeyes got to be feeling really, really good, about their chances. And if they can beat Texas, they might end up going all the way. But also, too, Ohio State could, play Texas and get stomped, or beat Texas, go to the Natty, and then lose to Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia. I mean, like I said, the teams are so close to each other for the top 6 teams in the playoff. Like, you just don't really know what's going to happen. And just unfortunately, the Ducks shit the bed today. Jesus Christ. Oh.
And I love it when you had the haters come in saying it's my fault. You know what I mean? Like if you bet money, and just because I'm a super fan of my team, obviously those people don't watch the stream just because you see me, even though you're not in the room and I'm a Duck fan. I've never claimed that they were going to go all the way. Maybe some Duck fans did, but I know better to get too far ahead of myself. I've been a sport fan for a long fucking time, 37 years. So I know better than to speak up in that kind of way. If you lost money, that's not on me. That's on you, but nobody anticipated Oregon getting blown out by fucking 20. And no one anticipated Arizona State almost beating Texas. That's college football for you. But I'm still proud of this team. One bad half cost us. We had a great year. But we got embarrassed today. Second down and 9. End around. First down, Buckeyes. Defense wins games, defense wins championships. Unfortunately, the defense did not show up today. How cruel is that? Finally we end up having a good defense. And, I've been waiting for them to have a defense as good as, this year. And then to perform like this in the college football playoff, man, tough. But we'll use it as fuel and motivation for next year. We got an easier schedule next year, but that's not necessarily good. We want to have good opponents on the schedule. No Ohio State or Michigan, so we'll probably have to play them in the playoff if we're good enough. And then we have at Penn State, and that's the only tough game. So, we could end up going 11-1 or 12-0, but again, that doesn't mean shit. If you match up against a GOAT or a really good team like the Buckeyes, we could go 12-0, have the same thing happen like this year, play them in the first round again and lose. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but let's finish strong here. Will Howard pass incomplete to Trayvon Henderson, 4th down. Yeah, they should make the Rose Bowl the last game. Like the Natty should be the Rose Bowl. That should be like the accumulation of all the hard work. And then if you end up winning the Natty, it should be at the Rose Bowl. That should definitely be the last game, in college football every single year with this college football playoff format, in my opinion. Because it's the most prestigious. It feels like a Super Bowl, type of feel. Didn't expect the Buckeyes to punt right there, but I guess they feel sorry for us. All right, we're down by 20. Oh, man. But I'll be okay. Like I said, I'm a super fan of many, many teams, and I'm a fan of greatness. I'm going to enjoy, the college football playoff the rest of the way. It's not like Oregon lost, and I'm just going to stop doing college football. Like, I love this shit, like just as much as anybody. And, Yeah, it's painful that we lost, but I'm very excited to see, who's going to end up, being the champion at the end of the day for the first college football playoff. Will it be Ohio State? Will it be Texas? Will it be Penn State, Notre Dame, or Georgia? And one of those teams is going to get it done. I wish it was us, but again, we have to use this as fuel and motivation, and hopefully we can figure out some of these problems and mistakes that we had, and players getting hurt, having that week off. O-line, D-line, secondary not playing well. And, hopefully this will be a learning lesson. And again, it's not very often that you just, go into a year where you go undefeated and then you just beat everyone and then you win the championship. A lot of times you have to lose first, either in the Natty or the game before the Natty, and then you slowly get better and better until you win it all. So. But we'll do Notre Dame and Georgia tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific. So I'm excited about that. Friday, we might end up doing just a lower bowl game. That'll be on. And then Saturday will be Bengals Steelers, a lot on the line. And then we will do Vikings and Lions on Sunday night. So like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help your boy out. And what are we at, 50? 50 to go. So after Notre Dame and Georgia, then maybe Minnesota and Virginia Tech and the Duke's Mayo Bowl on Friday night at 4:30. And then we'll go that route. Saturday is just Buffalo and Liberty. That's not worth doing. That's at 8 a.m. anyways. And then FCS Championship is on Monday. North Dakota State and Montana State. But maybe we'll do Monday Night Raw or something else. I don't know. Yeah, you'll be fine, man. It's just going to sting. You got to remember the joy that you had when we beat Ohio State. Don't forget that. The big wins that we had. Don't forget that. Beating Penn State in the Big Ten championship. Life is not fair. You're not going to be able to have everything go your way. And again, this one hurts. This one stings. But imagine how Ohio State felt when we beat them by 1. How crushed they were. They were the big dog. And we took them down. That fucking hurt. Them losing to Michigan, that fucking hurt. So again, it's all about how you respond to adversity. And again, you're not going to be able to win everything. You just got to be able to, dust yourself off, get up, and hopefully next year will be better. Hopefully we'll have a quarterback better than Dylan Gabriel next year. Hopefully the offensive line is better. Hopefully the secondary is better. Hopefully the D-line is better, And hopefully with Dan Lanning being here, he'll lead us to the promised land, which I do believe he will. But remember, even if we go to the Natty next year, and let's say we lose, that doesn't mean that we're a failure. We are just going through the steps to get there. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy. But that's what makes it special at the end of the day if you're able to do it. Because it's not going to be something that's just handed to you. You're going to have to fucking earn it and be a little lucky. Nice grab there. Noah Whittington with the one-handed grab. Exactly. That's what I was mentioning early on. I think the bye week is bad, just like in MLB with the playoffs. The teams that end up having like that bye, they lose, right? And the teams that continue to play, even if they have to play in like a wild card round, sometimes just having the repetition of playing, and being on a schedule is an advantage. Because it seems like the teams that obviously are sitting and waiting, it's not necessarily ideal for those teams. There's going to be teams that sit and win, but again, I think I would rather have the teams play, if I had a choice, rather than having a week or two off. It might have been able to help guys get healthy, but it definitely made us rusty, coming into the game, and it showed. But I agree with that too. It might not be as bad. It's like for the NFL, it's opposite. If you get the first seed, like you're the Chiefs, you're going to be fine. You have home field advantage, you're fine. But when you're going to be playing at neutral turf sites with no more fan support like you would at your home stadium, and then you have a week off, it's like you're almost, almost leading to a disaster. So, especially if you end up playing a team and they end up destroying the opponent the previous week, as Ohio State did to Tennessee. So, we don't got anybody to blame but ourselves. And make sure you guys give kudos to the Buckeyes. They earned it. They deserved it. Yeah, Ewers has got like 5-6 million in an NIL deal on the table to transfer too. For Arch Manning to be the quarterback for Texas next year, and maybe Ewers goes to Ohio State and goes back. Can you imagine that? Ohio State wins the Natty, and then all of a sudden Ewers transfers back to Ohio State, and then they win another one. But we'll find out. Like I said, Texas can beat Ohio State, but Ohio State could beat Texas. It could be very, very good. Any scenario would not surprise me. Ohio State beating Texas 41-21, or Texas beating Ohio State 41-21. You never know. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Third down and 14. Dylan Gabriel hanging on the football, looking like Caleb Williams out there for the Bears. But again, if your offensive line doesn't do their job, this is exactly what you get in return. Stand with Ukraine in the building. What's good, man? Ducks with the punt. I mean, the one positive thing that we can say out of this is that Oregon only gave up 7 points in the second half. So, that's something, but scoring 0 in the first, 8 in the second, 7 in the third, 6 in the fourth. I mean, that ain't going to cut it against the Buckeyes. Yeah, 1,500 and then 1,200 likes. Short game. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Yeah, well, come on, bro. No one's going to leave the fucking Rose Bowl when you're 13-0, only undefeated team. We won the Big Ten the first year. No Oregon fan is leaving. You got to think the tickets cost a shitload of money. You're going to support this team all the way to the end, just like any other team would, even if you end up losing by 20. Nobody's leaving the fucking Rose Bowl. I don't know. I mean, like I said, for me, it's not necessarily about interacting with people. I like to read, and watch films. So, maybe don't worry about other people, and if it's not for you, then don't worry about it. Don't have one. You don't have to have a Facebook or Instagram or a Twitter/X. And if you have one, who cares about followers and other shit? Just, use it as a tool to read and watch film. That's what I do. I could really care less on, who I interact with here or there. I mean, the purpose of me having it is to be able to, promote my show, but also to read and watch film. That's typically what I, use, social media for, not to, worry about how many subs or who's interacting with me. Yeah, but how did that go for you? Right? You didn't handle it the right way, right? I told you to do it, and then you abused your power, when you ended up having it, and again, maybe, social media is something that's not for you. Maybe you shouldn't have one. If it's going to cause you so much turmoil and stress, it's not worth it. Everyone can handle things a little differently, but, you have to be able to, understand things. 2-minute warning. Social media isn't for everyone. Maybe you just don't have one, and just enjoy your life. All right, 2-minute warning, 41-21, Buckeyes. Oh. I still believe in Dan, and again, like I said, he can only do so much. And we'll learn from this experience. We won't forget it. We had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. So, it shows you how hard, things are going to be. And remember, the College Football Playoff Committee did this shit on purpose because they wanted ratings. This wasn't necessarily fair to Oregon to play a team as good as Ohio State in the first round. Now, if we would have played Ohio State in the next round and ended up playing like Boise State or Indiana or someone like early on, that would have been probably more appropriate for being the 1 seed and actually getting rewarded, not at a disadvantage, But again, hopefully the College Football Committee will be better. But the best team won today. And again, we'll be live tomorrow for Georgia and Notre Dame at 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Come on, Ducks, play with some discipline. But I'm definitely not going to let this, dictate my, my whole year. Like I said, this is an unfortunate start, to 2025. But honestly, for some people, they, are going to be in mental distress. I'm going to be okay, because I know that, I got a lot of hard work and for my goals and my dreams. I got Paisley, I got you guys. Like I said, I'll be fine. And Matt, you should be fine as well. It's, you have to learn how not to overreact to certain things, understand that, life is tough. Not everything's going to go our way, and eventually our teams are going to win. And you're going to remember this loss for a long time, right? Until we end up winning it all. But that's what's going to make it so sweet when we do win it all, because we're going to go back and remember, remember New Year's? Remember when we lost by 20 to the Buckeyes? And then that feeling that we had? and then the feeling of joy that we're going to have when we win it all, that's what's going to make it all fucking worth it. You got to crawl before you walk. You got to cry before you have the joy, And again, we're going to remember this loss, and we'll use it as fuel and motivation for when that day comes when we do win it all. 3rd down and 16, handoff up the gut, short game. Got to crawl before you walk. Got to lose before you win. Well, I think, once you started doing all your play stuff and then you kind of got in your own world and then you started kind of pushing that, here on the channel, like this channel is your channel, and then you started not really living in reality, and again, it's like, I try to motivate people in the right way, but you can't, take things for fucking granted and not listen, and, you have to understand, it's like, instead of getting to know other people, you kept talking about fucking football plays during baseball streams and other shit like that. You weren't willing to actually interact with people, and if you were getting frustrated that people weren't interacting back, you have to have some fucking awareness, on what's going on. There's a time and a place to talk about certain things. And I think that you didn't have the awareness back then. And that was a turnoff for people like me and Sarah and others, So I feel that you can do social media, but you need to know how to use social media, and not to abuse it. That's just me being real. If you feel that you can handle social media, do it. But, again, but your awareness was not good. And I kept telling you, but you ignored. You didn't listen. So, you got to be able to be humble and listen. Short game. And that is it. GG to all the Buckeyes. Final score, Buckeyes 41, Oregon 21. And they win the Rose Bowl. Shout out to them. Well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Congratulations to the Buckeyes. They advanced to play Texas in the next round. They win the Rose Bowl. Shout out to all the people that liked, subbed, donated, commented, shared. Definitely not the way that we wanted this game to go, but again, it's not going to ruin my year. We will bounce back, and eventually, we will win the Natty, but it's just not this year. And congratulations to the Buckeyes. Hopefully they can keep rolling, and they can represent the Big Ten and be the champion at the end of the day. But Texas has something to say about that, as well as Penn State, Georgia, or Notre Dame. We got Georgia, Notre Dame stream tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific. Keep your head up, all Duck fans. Again, things will get better, but you got to give credit where the credit is due. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Shout out to Zay, Panthers fan, Captain Oreo, Panthers fan, Chief will Chief, Zay, Chief will Chief, Reflect, Chief will Chi, and Captain Oreo. Appreciate you guys. Sarah, thank you for the help. And I got one question for you. Talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Congratulations, Buckeyes, and I'm out. Gang.